Silver earrings.
I step into the day with the dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, I tune into my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning espresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
A very good morning, you beautiful souls. Good morning, South Africa. Wake up, get out of bed. I know it's a brand new week, start of a brand new day, but it's never too early to just relax, chill, take it easy. We've got at least 3 hours with you this morning to arm you for your day, fortify that mind, fortify that heart, hopefully get you prepped for the brand new week, and also have a load of fun. We're going to be delving into all the weekend sport, and there was some incredible sport starting from around 12 o'clock on Friday. Of course, the Springboks really warming up for the World Cup in just the right way. We've got an all-star team coming in to chat all things sport, but I think the overarching feeling in South Africa, we've seen a shift from utter disgust and shame to a message of solidarity to an overwhelming sense of pride, looking at the way that South Africa has stood up to be counted, stood up in solidarity. So thank you so much, South Africa, for standing up together. And we're going to continue driving that message home as much as we can as individuals, as a company ourselves. And I think as a nation, we have a very important role to play. So that's where we're going to hit home this morning. Just Leanne and myself today, we're going to be flying like Han Solo and Luke Skywalker, just the two of us, which makes your role this morning ever more important. We want you guys to weigh in on the conversation and inspire us today. Start spreading that message of hope, of positivity. What is happening in your community that is inspiring you, that is driving you to be the change that you want to see in the community around you? Please send us pictures, send us videos, highlight those incredible organizations, those amazing people, those life-affirming opportunities that we have right on our doorstep, sharing with us those things that are inspiring you in your community right now. We want to be that platform to be able to really heap praise, yes, but also promote the organizations and those initiatives that are making that change possible every day. And there are a lot of them. There is so much to be positive right now about. So thank you so much again for joining us for what promises to be a very inspiring week. I feel inspired every time I look at this gorgeous face. Good morning, Lee.
Good morning, Genus, and good morning to you at home. It is going to be a beautiful, beautiful week ahead, of course. Thank you so much, Graham, for touching on all of those important points. Last week was emotionally devastating on our country, but I think all of us are united in the fight to, of course, make sure that we eliminate gender-based violence from the fiber of our society, and let's not stop fighting for that, because it is one of the most important causes. Nothing else is more important than focusing on that right now. So thank you so much to every single person in this country who continues to keep the flame of hope alive. Now, of course, something that we do every single day in our W Beauty room is make sure that we know what the weather's looking like, because that usually does inform the way we're going to be dressing for the rest of the day. So let's catch you up on those weather details. Starting off with Johannesburg today, sunny conditions, plenty of sunshine with pleasantly warm temperatures. The sky will remain clear for the duration of the day with little to no wind. Humidity rapidly decreases towards the evening, and then a warm sunset can also be expected. Now, Durban, there's some sunny conditions with clear skies and beautiful temperatures. A northwesterly wind can be expected throughout the day. Humidity will remain steady and temperatures remain between 15 to 24 degrees. Then for Port Elizabeth, you can expect an abundance of sunshine with cooler but pleasant temperatures. A southwesterly wind will pick up in the morning but completely dies down in the evening, and then humidity will also remain low. Finally, ending off with Cape Town today, partly sunny conditions with occasional cloud cover in the morning. Temperatures are cooler than the day before. Towards the evening, cloud cover increases, but of course with a southeasterly breeze that can be expected as well. So there you go, your temperatures across the country today. Hopefully now that's given you a little bit more of a taste of what you can wear. But we also know that every now and again we get tired of our decor. Now the easiest and most affordable way to cozy up those levels and to instantly change the mood of the room is by simply adding scatter cushions. The nice thing is that Woolworths understands the need for bold and colorful scatters, and they've helped us to transform our beauty room by simply adding some soft feminine scatters. I mean, look at those, they're absolutely beautiful. What I love about them is you get them in different textures. Like there you can see beautiful printed floral ones. There's different textures over there, and then you get the bold standard colors as well, floral designs, interesting color combinations. And by simply adding these scatter cushions, we've given our beauty room a complete facelift without even breaking the budget. So you can shop yours at Woolworths, you can go in store, online, or on the Woolies app, and I think they're absolutely amazing. You might want to try that to give your living room or bedroom a little bit of an update. Graham, what do you think of these?
Well, I see your update in the beauty room, and I raise you an update, a beautiful facelift in our lounge. Loving the scatter cushions, loving the fact that a new season gives us an opportunity to, as you say, give a facelift not only to ourselves, to our diet, but also to our living spaces. And we've introduced some amazing new bold prints here. This is all courtesy of Studio W. We've gone for very clear blocking in terms of those prints, the textures of the cushions themselves, beautiful scatters. And I love the way that we blocked them out on our kind of linear design of the couches as well, but just a little splash of color here and there. In this case, obviously the yellow is the statement piece, beautifully juxtapositioned against the gray. Absolutely love it. I never thought I'd be this kind of pumped and into talking about cushions, but I really do like this. And if our Woolworths beauty room has got a slightly feminine edge or touch to it, this seems to have brought through a bit of a neutral, maybe even a slightly masculine vibe as well. But of course, you can shop all of these incredible scatter cushion designs courtesy of Studio W right now. Get in store, go and have a look at how their shop displays have utilized them, or if you want even more inspiration, get online to Woolies' incredible website or go to the app and buy them right now as we speak. And the great thing is they've got some awesome styling teams putting together looks that will hopefully inspire you to use them and use the colors, use the patterns in a way that can really enhance your living space as you speak. Kind of give it a test run, if you will. But all of these designs available online right now. All right, so we love to start our day on a very positive note here. And I think for us, as much as for you, an opportunity to kind of reset, recalibrate our brain with something very positive. And we've been honing in on a lot of incredibly powerful women, not just because obviously last month was Women's Month, but because there are some incredible women within the entertainment industry making their mark right now, and one that continues to make a mark. It's amazing to think that she first broke into the entertainment scene back in 1991, but she's gone on from being, I think what we could say with all due respect was a backup dancer to now being a leading lady that commands massive roles and fortunes as well. But she's produced her own TV series, produced movies, and she just seems like the most amazing human being. I'm talking about the one and only Jennifer Lopez. She's a style icon to boot, and she had this to say, and I really want this to sink in, so look into my eyes. Doubt is a killer. You just have to know who you are and what you stand for. Now more than ever, we need to know who we are and what we stand for. Just don't doubt it. You're amazing. Believe it. Go out there and spread that message to the rest of the world. You have an opportunity to change your life today. In fact, right this second. But of course, we have to get ourselves prepped, educate ourselves with what's going on in our own country after such a crazy week. Let's see what tone we start the brand new week on. Let's get into those news headlines with Leanne.
Thank you so much, Graham. In the national news this morning, one person has died following renewed violence in the Johannesburg CBD yesterday. Police also confirmed that some hostile tenants were inciting the violence and had disrupted the former Inkatha Freedom Party leader Mangosuthu Buthelez's speech earlier yesterday. The courageous and fighting spirit of Uyenene Mkhwetyana, who was raped and killed allegedly by a post office employee in Cape Town last month, will live on through a scholarship created in her honor at UCT. It will be called the Uyenene Mkhwetyana Scholarship for Women in Humanities Studies. On the international front, an estimated 1 million people yesterday attended a mass celebrated by Pope Francis on the outskirts of Madagascar's capital city, Antananarivo. The gathering has been described as the largest public gathering in Madagascar's history. Hong Kong protesters yesterday sang the Star-Spangled Banner and called on US President Donald Trump to liberate the Chinese-ruled city. This is the latest in a series of demonstrations that have gripped the territory for months. And finally, runners in the Imfolozi outrun in KZN last week were the victims of a prank with a difference. The Imfolozi outrun is an exhilarating 2-day stage run held in the game reserve with the same name. Chances of encountering one of the big five during the jog are pretty high. So the organizers decided to boost the adrenaline sky high by placing a stuffed lion en route. The runners' reaction was priceless. Some didn't even notice the beast at all, while others had real major panics at the sight of the stuffed lion before tumbling to the ruse. Now, it was the real McCoy, or rather the real McCoy though, when runners had to mark time as a herd of elephants sauntered across the road just a kilometer from the finish line on the final day. Well, that was your 6 o'clock news update. Let's get our very first taste of what's happening in the exciting world of sport. Here's Graham.
Thanks so much, Lee. Well, I think sports is going to dominate after a bumper weekend. And let's kick it off with the rugby on Friday. Makazole Mapimpi scoring a hat-trick as the Springboks claimed pretty comfortable in the end 41-7 win over Japan. That was in their Rugby World Cup warm-up match at the Kumakaya Athletic Stadium on Friday. Continuing with rugby, locally the Free State Cheetahs survived a late comeback from the Golden Lions to be crowned the 2019 Currie Cup champions, securing a narrow 31-28 win in front of a sold-out Blom on a Saturday. Then on to tennis, momentous weekend as teenager Bianca Andreescu scored, or stunned rather, 23-time Grand Slam winner Serena Williams 6-3, 7-5, while second seed Rafa Nadal beat Russian Daniil Medvedev in the early hours of this morning 7-5, 6-3, 5-7, 4-6, 6-4 in 4 hours and 51 minutes to be crowned the 2019 US Open champion, to take his Grand Slam tally to 19 now. And a big one for motorsport as well, as Ferrari's Charles Leclerc held off Mercedes teammates Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton, who came in third to claim his second successive Formula One victory. That, of course, at the Italian Grand Prix yesterday. And then, of course, we round off on the most tragic note as Springbok legend Chester Williams sadly passed away at the age of 49 on Friday. It's believed that the former Bok wing and icon suffered a heart attack. And we certainly send our condolences to his family, to his friends, and the broader rugby fraternity. We'll touch on the incredible mark that such a wonderful human being, over and above the mark he made in rugby, has made and left a gaping hole in world rugby. We'll touch on that now in the first half hour of the show.
Don't fear the flu. Boost your immune system with Effaflu C Immune Booster by Pharmadynamics. Effective, affordable healthcare.
Now, we asked you to send in your sunrise pictures. Ntokoza Makatini sent us his sunrise from Johannesburg, where plenty of sunshine can be expected with pleasant temperatures, reaching a maximum of 24 degrees. Father Khan also sent us his sunrise picture from Richards Bay, where sunny conditions can be expected with warmer temperatures reaching a maximum of 26 degrees. Let's take a look at some of the other temperatures around the country, starting off with Polokwane, a low of 7 rising to 25, Mbombela 9 reaching 24, Pretoria 11 rising to 27, plenty of sunshine for Johannesburg with a low of 10 reaching 24 degrees, Mahikeng, your low is 7 rising to 27, Klerksdorp 8 26, Kimberley 7 27, and then the lowest temperature in the country is for Bloemfontein this morning with a low of 3 rising to 26 degrees, Richards Bay 13 26, Pietermaritzburg 9 28, and then some high humidity for Durban with a low of 15 rising to 23 degrees. Mthatha 8:31, East London 15:29, Cradock 7:32, and then a southwesterly wind of 15 kilometers per hour for Port Elizabeth with temperatures of 16 rising to 26. George 13 reaching 24, a southwesterly wind of 22 kilometers per hour for Sutherland with a low of 8 rising to 26 degrees. There's some high humidity for Cape Town today with a low of 14 reaching 22, and then the highest temperature in the country is for Worcester with a low of 14 reaching 31 degrees. Springbok 13:31, and finally Uppington, your low is 12 and your high is 30 degrees today. Well, that was your 6 o'clock weather update. We'll have another bulletin for you at 7.
Are we happy? Yes, we are. Massive weekend in sport. I know, tinged with tragedy, and we'll delve into that in just a moment. Massive, massive blow to the world of rugby. But I think when we look at the Springboks, you look like a man who's quietly confident after your box performance, Ash.
So a sort of quite a polished performance, you know, for the World Cup warm-up. You don't want to do too much. You don't want to show your whole hand. But there was some good stuff, some nice finishing. Forwards got stuck in, so looking good.
If the wings are scoring hat tricks, that's what we want. That's what we want. You know, you look pretty polished yourself this morning, so I think we need to round off the look with a nice polished cup of coffee. Morning, my sweet thing. How are you, princess?
I'm good, and you?
I'm good, thanks. What's your poison, man?
Sweetness knows that. Princess, sorry. She knows must just be strong. Strong with a bit of milk.
Just a touch. Yeah. She knows the drill. Thank you, my sweetness.
Thanks, Princess.
We'll see you now. Love you, good.
Only the highest grade Arabica beans. McAfee, great coffee, simple. See you after the break.
Only you can make my day.
welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in. We love the fact that we get to start our week with you, but not when we have to start a week on a very tragic note. We're going to take a look at all of the weekend's biggest sporting moments, some of those massive results coming out of course, a plethora of rugby action, but I think most importantly, pay homage to a legend of the sport, an incredible South African, Chester Williams, who sadly passed away on Friday. Here to give us their thoughts on all of the weekend sports and their perspective, please welcome sports presenter Morgan Newman and digital sports editor Ashfaq Mohammed. Gents.
Morning. Thanks for having me.
Sorry about the coffee, dude. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was about to call you excited on air about that. I'm not so happy that there's only 2 cups sitting here, but
buddy,
all right.
it's so good to have the two of you here to be able to talk about this, because I know how emotionally invested you are both in rugby. Maybe I can start with you, Morgan. Chester Williams, I think no death will ever come as, it'll be shocking, yes, but this seems to have hit in a year where rugby has taken many blows when we put into context with losing James Small as well. How are you feeling, man? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, man, it's tough. I think it's really tough, What a heavy week we had, and then still to get the news at the back end of the week that our friend, our mentor, a hero to many in South Africa, has passed on, and so tragic, so sudden. Nothing could prepare us for it, and it's just so sad. I think he was looked up. He was a hero to so many people, and unfortunately, we got to celebrate a life when he's no longer there with us.
Yeah, I mean, what I've loved in some parts is getting nostalgic, watching, reruns of old games. Yeah. But when you see him on the field, say for instance for the Lions, and you get a sense of, hang on a minute, this is a black player essentially in a time when there was no one else on that field, man. He made a mark. He was brave, and he still played amazing rugby through all of having that additional pressure. What mark did he make?
No, he was such an inspiration for someone like Morgan as well, who come through the ranks. He coached by Chester as well. Just to prove that it can be done. That you can come from a difficult background, you can play at the highest level, you can score 4 tries in a World Cup match in a quarter-final against Western Samoa. Just unbelievable, but for me, the thing about Chester is always his smile. Such a friendly demeanor, such an approachable person, never airs and graces about him, never felt that because he's a Springbok, he can look down on you or think less of you. And that was a real mark of the man.
So we certainly send our condolences to the broader rugby fraternity. I think there are a lot of young players who are missing his influence when we look at the future, but to his family especially, sending our absolute heartfelt condolences. I think you would have been really proud of where the Springboks are at the moment. Of course, on Friday they had an opportunity to send out a message, but not completely, as you say, Ash, show their hand. How are you feeling about where the Springboks are now this close? Because they need a peak at just the right time.
I think they did well because, of course, they needed to deal with Japan after what happened in Brighton in 2015, and they got that out of the way quickly. The forwards stamped the authority, the backs really finished well. Jason Colby, the first try, lovely finish, but it was from a set play where Lucanio Arm came in and Vali Leroux, and Chizzy was open in the corner there. So in that way, they laid down a marker saying, we are here, we're ready, we've got all our plans in place, but not showing all the tricks as well. So it was a really polished, as I said earlier, but they tick those boxes that they needed to. The lineouts worked well, scrum was solid. Now they're ready for the All Blacks.
Is this our A team, if you will? I know we need to play with the depth of squad here where we can rotate and we can kind of pick players on form literally on the day, but looking at, I think Vali Leroux, for me, kind of showed what he can actually do. His lines, his pop passes under the high ball, brilliant. But is this our strongest team, do you feel?
Sure, that's a tough one. I mean, look, probably. But you know what the nice thing is? For the first time in years, we've actually got options. And I think, Rassie, yes, it may be a sneak look at our first team, but I do think it's horses for courses. I think, the options that we've got, the backup that we've got, is different style, brings a different element to the game. So, yes, it's our first side. Should be playing a World Cup final tomorrow. But that being said, the likes of the Bongi and Manambis of this world, our backup props that we've got, the loose trio that we've got waiting in the wings, our backline players we've got waiting in the wings. There's a number of different options that he can explore with, as the World Cup progresses. And should we meet the All Blacks again in the final?
Yeah,
then we'll see what happens.
When, yeah.
When, I love it.
Yeah.
So I turned my back for a second as we hone in on local rugby. I went to an event on Saturday night, missed the last 10 minutes of the Currie Cup final and almost missed the entire narrative.
Yes.
What happened, thank goodness for a brilliant first half where the Cheetahs
Game was
bossed
done,
them.
man,
But I thought that it was done and dusted. Can we put our hands up for the Lions? Must be heartbroken at not being able to cross that finishing line. But what do you make of that final? But that was
well
a
done to
final.
the Cheetahs. I said on the show at the start of the tournament, if you remember, that they're the team to beat and they brought it home. So, but Ruan Pienaar again, back home to his home province for the first time in his senior career.
Yeah.
And he wins the Currie Cup, and he was such a crucial part of that whole team throughout the season. But just on the final, that front row again, Oxenche, Joseph Dwebas.
I mean, he's put his hand
terrific
up.
work,
How much longer they're not going to be able to bring him into the fold. The free running front row, we absolutely love that. But you mentioned obviously a couple of key names there, Ruan Pienaar in particular, going into the Pro 14. How important is them clicking now? Because they're about to start a massive campaign.
Yeah, I mean, look, it lays down, definitely lays on the mark. Confidence, winning culture is something that you need in this Pro 14. That being said, I think, the Cheetahs always lack depth. They'll start well, we have no doubt about that. But can they keep up the momentum it's such a, whenever they don't have a preseason, they don't have a real preseason. Now they're heading straight into the opening of a tournament. So I feel sorry for them because depth plays a massive role in the Pro 14. But that being said, with the Ruan Pienaar there with a nice cool little head that he's got, and a number of guys putting up their hands for potentially what will be the end of the year tour again, then I just hope they can keep it up for what's a very long season.
They're going to have a new coach as well in Harvey's Fourie. Of course, Franco Smith is now leaving to become Italy's head coach.
Yeah, what a send-off, man.
So a great achievement for him, but now Harvey's Fourie, renowned as a backline coach, so I think Cheetahs won't stop scoring tries. Just that defence and the forwards, if they can sort that out.
Oh, luckily they've got the utility front row that can play in any position in the back line. So they're sorted. Jen, so good to have you here. We're going to continue. I'm going to keep you both here before you give you your international send-off. But Morgan, great to have you here as well, my brother. We're going to chat a bit of a broader scope of weekend sport. But again, we send all of our love and our heartfelt condolences to Chester's family.
Thank you so much, Graham. Now, the 2019 Rugby World Cup is just around the corner, and the 31-man Springbok squad will be looking to bring home the coveted Webb Ellis Trophy for the third time. And there's no better way than to show your support for the team than to be wearing the green and gold. Now, in June, SA Rugby launched the Faces on Numbers campaign, which gives you, the public, the opportunity to get on the backs of Springbok stars like Captain Siya Kolisi, Andre Pollard, and rookie Herschel Yankees. Now, if you would really like your face to be on a Bok jersey, all you have to do is register on the special Expresso Springbok portal below. Now, there are 50 spots available during one of South Africa's Rugby World Cup matches. And that's not all. A random draw will be done, and 2 lucky winners will walk away with the official Springbok jersey. So make sure to register on the special link provided below to win. The competition is open and entries close at 12 p.m. on Wednesday. So make sure you get involved with and support our Boks as they take it all the way to the top in Japan. We're going to take a quick break. Morgan didn't get a cup of coffee, so we're going to hook it up. Princess, or shall I say sweetness?
This is Season 9 of Tropica Island of Treasure. Welcome to Curacao in the Caribbean. Buy Tropica and come find your smooth fame and fortune. Audition online now to compete with your favorite celeb, and you could join us in paradise and stand a chance to win your share of a smooth 1 million rand. Grab a Tropica for details and see you in paradise.
The more Tropica you buy, the more chances you have to win hundreds of thousands of prizes. Tropica, nothing smoother.
what that funky beat means. Time for our Tech Daily Update. Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Time to feed our brains just a little bit. Some very exciting tech news. Leading technology companies, including Facebook, Google, and Twitter, have now partnered with the BBC to form an alliance against fake news using a new early warning system. And here to unpack this partnership, this does sound amazing, yes, to the uneducated, but what are those actual implications? We've invited in our resident tech expert, Brian Smith. Brian,
thanks very much, Graham.
This is a big one. Because this is kind of at an intersection of news, of tech that has kind of been bubbling under, maybe boiling over for the last few years. We've seen how tech can quite literally influence the political kind of framework for an entire country. So this is vital. This is so important, not just for individuals, but for, I think, the world. So let's start at the beginning. What is actually going on? How do they intend to curb fake news with this partnership?
Absolutely. So perhaps to your earlier point, it's perhaps not surprising this is coming ahead of the 2020 presidential elections in the United States. And I think that's probably one of the most prevalent junctures where we've seen fake news influence the political sphere, as you mentioned. On social media platforms, we've seen the essence of virality come to the fore, wherein fake news has really taken over to the extent that people just can't help but share headlines that are beyond sensational or perhaps a little bit incredulous but are still believable. And now what many technology companies have been accused of is not doing enough or not doing anything to curb the rise of fake news on their platforms. Perhaps Facebook has become most under fire for this. So this is a new partnership that has been spearheaded by the BBC, and these tech giants are now going to cooperatively work, firstly to flag fake news on their platforms and rapidly identify that and share it between their partners, and then secondly hopefully curb through the use of algorithms and an artificial intelligence the spread of that fake news across their platforms itself.
I was going to say, because it's an algorithm. It's not, I mean, it's one thing to hand over responsibility to say, well, it's the people sharing the news, but it's also the algorithms that are driving that. And we know that we are, unfortunately, in the social media space especially, very susceptible to suggestion. It's very much how it works. So how do they identify the fake news or the algorithms? What's the actual mechanism that'll be that first kind of warning sign?
So that's actually what's going to be developed as a result of this partnership. So what they're going to be working towards is a software system that can rapidly identify, based on past trends, the spread of fake news. And what's particularly prevalent about the spread of fake news, if you consider any social media platform wants to promote the idea of engagement. So that's a post that receives a lot of attention or engagement, comments from viewers, and it's rather susceptible to pick that up if you consider that fake news itself is so
anything
shareable.
that goes viral is like, okay, it's probably fake. It's probably fake.
Well, we definitely need to think about it twice.
But that's the thing, it really does stand to reason. I mean, yes, you want to use a little bit of reason in that space, but we are unfortunately at the mercy of some unscrupulous and very intelligent software designers on the back end of that. So moving forward, how do we see this playing out? Is it going to become common practice then? Do you think if BBC are connecting with this, will we ever see Fox News?
That's a loaded question.
I say that with all due respect, it is a very loaded question, but where will this lead and how quickly do you think, is it going to be in place before for instance, the 2020 elections?
I think it's very likely it will be. So it's going to come as sort of two endeavors. The first is to develop that early warning system where different publishers, social media companies and news houses will identify fake news. And then secondly, there's changing algorithms and artificial intelligences, firstly to spot fake news and then to curb its spread on those platforms to prevent it from becoming reality altogether. What's pretty interesting is that Facebook, just 2 days before this announcement, has already committed around $10 million in funding to try and spot deep fake videos. So that is videos created by artificial intelligence, means that propagate an illegal or essentially a negative message that is contrary to the reality of news. And this kind of partnership and these kind of collaborations will ultimately be fruitful, I hope, in curbing fake news ahead of important political events like the 2020 election in the United States.
I smell a movie. In about 5 years' time, I smell a righteous man standing up against fake news. That's going to happen. But you can get more incredible insights with Brian. That was very enriching and hugely interesting as well. We love catching up with Brian, and you can make sure that you stay up to date with all the latest tech news. Connect with the man himself on bandwidthblock.com.
Get an insurance quote and stand a chance to win one of 6 Samsung S10 smartphones. Simply SMS the keyword INSURE to 31492 for a callback and quote, and you could be a winner.
Consider Consider trying to function, get a job, and conduct your everyday business in 2019 with no computer skills. Well, it's a situation far removed from so many, but it is a daily reality for more people than we can imagine. Now, this is what led everyday superwoman from Mitchell's Plain to open up her home and provide free computer training to children, students, pensioners, job seekers, anyone needing these skills to make a breakthrough in their lives. Mandela Monday hero Ceciline Seal puts computer power in the hands of her community.
Some of the children in the area would come to me with projects and stuff, and I had only the one computer at the time. And helping them spark something, this is actually something that I like doing, helping the kids and that. And then I got some kids together, I got 2 more computers, and I started teaching the kids lessons, but you know, I felt sorry for them because they knew nothing about computers. They didn't know how to do their projects, and schoolwork can be very demanding. And this is actually where everything started. Computer skills that I teach is Microsoft Office, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Publisher, where I teach them how to make other stuff, like business cards and letterheads and things that they can make money with. Some of them got jobs already, and they will tell me, Ceci, thank you. I offer also free Wi-Fi while they're a student. They can come and do their CVs here. They can come and sit here and browse for jobs. Offer these services because of our children that is at home, not working.
Since I've been here, I learned to make backgrounds. I learned more about hardware than I ever learned, and I used to study software. And the stuff that I learned here is different from the stuff that I used to learn at school.
I have a passion for media and also helping people, and she's been an inspiration to the community as well, where she's uplifting people. When you step out of the corporate world and you're stepping into our communities, actually you see how much help is needed, because nowadays our youngsters just get thrown into classrooms of 40 people, 50 people, and they don't have that individual attention. And here's a place where they can come to. She's just a bubbly inspiration. When you speak to her, it's like a ray of light.
Actually, I'm interested in being an IT specialist, so learning about computers is something that I'm interested in. And because of me coming back is because I really like being here, spending time mostly here. It relaxes me and it helps me a lot in life. I have a message to Ceciline. I would like to say thank you for being the mother in class and teaching us so well, and always being the joyful person you are and helpful.
Well, I've been running this program now for more than 3 years, and I'm planning to run it forever. I don't see myself doing anything else. I get excited when I teach the kids or adults, and I'm very vibrant in my classes. I do charge a registration fee, but everything else is free. They don't pay for anything else. The Wi-Fi is free. They can come to classes more than their scheduled times. They can come to me. I give them a one-on-one. It's all free of charge, and I make time for them. People from all walks of life walk in here, always tell me how happy they are because now they know how to do things. My oldest person that I had here was 77 years old, and he started writing a book because of what I taught him how to use the computer. So yeah, I do make a difference.
Ceciline left a well-paying job to move her people forward, and their success is hers. Wow.
I love it.
What a way to inspire us on a Monday morning, hey? Wonderful. Well done, Ceciline Seal, doing the most in her community.
Incredible, man. When you think of how just that one act could shift a person, just being computer literate at key moments, being able to, for instance, develop a CV to send out to someone, finish a school project, just a small skill that has a massive, massive effect on your life. So, Ceciline, we love you. Thank you so much for doing what you're doing, and hopefully you guys are going to continue to shine a spotlight on people in your community, members, organizations that are doing amazing things. We want you to connect with us on our social media platforms. Give them the time and platform that they deserve this morning. So after the break, we can have a little bit of fun, help you avoid the 419 scam, educate you, arm you in that sense, and then give away a smartphone. So we'll see you now.
Who's got what it takes to shine on Expresso? Your favorite breakfast show is searching for new presenters, and it's your time to shine with Orbit Gum.
Own it with Presenter Search on 3, the Expresso edition, Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. on SABC3.
In thrilling weekly challenges, who will stand, who will stumble, and who will win the right to bring you the best of breakfast television. It's your time to shine with Presenter Search on 3 and Orbit Gum.
Tell us who you would like to see join the Presenter Search on 3 Top 10. Is it radio presenter and entrepreneur Danny Gaselli, musician and advertising agent Rashen Pillay, TV presenter and MC Kutle Adams, or boxer and radio presenter Zanande Makina? Vote for your favorite on the Presenter Search on 3 Viewers' Choice Twitter poll on twitter.com/be found on 3. T's and C's apply and can be found on presentersearchon3.com.
Know that when you receive such
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Ever received an email promising you a large sum of money if you invest in a once-in-a-lifetime business opportunity? Well, that would be known as a 419 scam. Now, we have Sabric CEO Kalyani Pillay back in studio to discuss what exactly to do if you find one of those emails that's come your way. Kalyani, so good to have you on the show.
Thank you, Leanne.
I'm exhausted. Yet another way for a fraudster to take our hard-earned money from us.
Absolutely.
Exactly what is the 419 scam?
Okay, so 419 scam is where the perpetrators will actually send out a communication to a whole host of people. They obviously have people's email addresses. Yes. They even phone people as well, but most often through an email. Send it out saying, look, there's this big opportunity. You've actually won some money. A relative of yours from wherever has received this particular amount of money, and you're going to be getting it, but in order to get it, you need to pay X amount of fee. So they entice you to do a payment to them. So you, at the end of the day now, are so excited about the fact that, gosh, you've just gone on retirement, your wife's gone on retirement, or you've just left one job, going into another job, and you've got this lump sum of money that you need to put away. So here's this great opportunity where you don't have to pay X amount of tax, and that you actually can try and safeguard it. So that's how it appears to be. But of course, it's not that at all. It's really about you giving them an amount of money which you're never going to see again. The money is going to be gone completely. So it's really about that kind of thing. And it's so important that in terms of the Financial Intelligence Center Act, they actually compel banks to keep this information about particular people so that they know where you're from and what your address is and that kind of thing, so that the bank gets to know who it is that they're dealing with.
Yeah.
So again, having that information is very important, and the bank will send that out to you. But it's really so important that you need to know that when you receive such a communication, it really most often is a scam, and that you need to be worried about it.
But there are people who fall victim to
Yes,
it. What
yes.
should one do if you receive such an email? Is it worth going to the police?
Yes.
Or is it a case of just ignore?
No. So the police are actually very much aware of the fact that there is such a kind of scam that's
Yes.
around, and they actually have created a website which says, FICA, so it's FICA,
Oh, okay.
and you can send it through to them, so it alerts them to the different kinds of scams that they are, so that they then register it and they note it, and they would obviously, if they're able to, and depending how many bits of information they get around it, they'd actually then start doing an investigation. And so that's really why it's important to let them know. Over and above it, if you've already paid out the money, one, your bank already should know about it already, so that they can create this alert around it, so that on an early warning sort of system, they already know what they can alert people beforehand, that if you are going to be paying out, this is what you need to be taking care of, and that this is what it is that they know of.
Let's say you have fallen victim to this scam. Is there any way of retrieving your money back?
The one thing that happens is that the police will investigate the matter. It's got to be an investigation done by the police. So they would do this investigation. They would complete it. They would get to see there is sufficient information here to warrant them going ahead and bringing the person to book. So that's the one thing. The second thing is that if there are monies available in the account, which most often it's unlikely that there are monies available. So if monies are available, they can, of course, put in an order. But at the end of the day, it's all the people that have got all of these monies that needs to be paid out. And there's usually never enough money to be able to pay it out. So it's really very, very serious that most often people are actually victimized in this particular way.
Well, how does one stop yourself from getting these emails? How do you stop them coming through? And do you have any tips on how people can avoid just getting scammed in general?
I think the important thing is that you can call the Financial Services Conduct Authority. You call them and you ask whether a particular company is registered with them. Are they a service provider to do this kind of advice to people, where they would ask for money to be paid over to them so that money can be collected? And you can actually make an inquiry by doing that, but also very important to just let the police know as well. I think it's just important to do that.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much, Kalyani Pillay, always giving us the most information. And I think the most important thing is to remember that these criminals never sleep. They work day and night to try and defraud you out of your own hard-earned money. And that's why we're so happy to have experts like you just keeping us on our toes.
Sure.
Well, there you have it. Now, cell phones have allowed us to bank anywhere and anytime, constantly on the move. But what dangers are involved, and are we all vulnerable? Well, next week, Sabric CEO Kalyani Pillay is back in studio, where we discuss the dangers of cell phone banking and what we need to do to avoid falling victim to fraud.
We are brave, innovative, everywhere. We are Sabric.
Thank you so much, ladies. From arming you with the right tools to keep you safe when using your smartphone to giving one away, there is nothing smoother than winning when you buy Tropica. So over the last few weeks, Tropica fans have been entering to compete in Tropica Island of Treasure, Curacao, but there have also been a lot of other prizes up for grabs when you buy a Tropica, literally thousands. And for example, we've got airtime, we've got cash, Caribbean tan hampers, guest watches, LG Q60 smartphones, and 55-inch LG UHD smart digital TVs, steam dishwashers to boot. That's more than 100,000 prizes. That's awe-inspiring. So they've really upped their game this year by giving away more than 100,000 prizes. Yes, awesome. And you have the chance to win yourself, winning one of those fantastic prizes or packages when you buy any size of your favorite flavor of Tropica in fresh or long life. So to find the unique code behind the label, well, that sticker, and then follow the entry details is all you have to do to put yourself in the running. And we've got a very special announcement to make today. Congratulations to Ziyanda Bonga. Can I get a round of applause? Congratulations. Why? Because you've just won yourself an LG Q60 smartphone. Very nice. Let's take a look at what she had to say.
Wow, I'm so excited about my LG Q60, right? Thank you, Tropica, guys. Don't forget to buy Tropica and enter the competition. Thank you. Bye.
I love the crash zoom. Wow, 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 of pure excitement. Congratulations, Ziyanda. Remember, hashtag TIOT9 is still looking for their 6 Tropica fan contestants. And if you've got what it takes, and if you want to win smooth fame and fortune like 500,000 Rand, you've got to record a video of yourself describing how you would outsmooth your competition on the island of Curacao. You've got to load that video onto Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook with the hashtag TIOT9 and visit tropica.co.za to get all of those details. Fill in the entry form, submit your video, and it could be you winning smooth fame and fortune in this incredible season of Tropica Island of Treasure, Curacao. But all the terms and conditions and more information can be found at tropica.co.za.
There's nothing smoother than winning when you buy Tropica. To enter for Tropica Island of Treasure Curacao, buy any size and your favorite flavor of Tropica in fresh or long life. Find the unique code behind the label or the sticker. Then follow the entry details on the pack and you could win daily prizes of airtime, cash, LG Q60 smartphones, 55-inch LG UHD smart artificial intelligence digital TVs, steam dishwashers, Caribbean tan hampers, or guest watches. That's more than 100,000 prizes. Now, for your chance at competing in Tropica Island of Treasure Curacao, record a video audition of yourself describing how you would outsmooth your competition on the island. Then load that video onto Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook with hashtag TIOT9 or WhatsApp the video to 063-921-8395. And it could be you winning a share of 1 million Rand plus smooth fame and fortune while flying with KLM to the Caribbean for this season of Tropica Island of Treasure Curacao.
Only you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Happy birthday, a very happy birthday to you.
Feel it in your bones. It's your birthday. Hopefully you're feeling extra special. If not, maybe you're one of the lucky people who gets to have your name, your special message read out live right now on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's birthday time.
It's birthday time indeed. Let's start off with Mrs. S. Claassen. Here's your message. A happy birthday to my wife. May God bless you with many more years to come from your husband. So, Samay, I think it says, huh? Samay.
Samay.
Yes. Also, a very happy birthday to Anthony Rose or Roos. A happy 10th birthday. Stay blessed, son. We love you lots from your mommy, your daddy, your brother, and your sisters. Happy birthday, Anthony.
The whole fam, yo Tony, and then a happy 39th birthday to Hilda. Enjoy your day. That's from Latrine van Wyk, Innocent and Alison van Wyk, sending you all their love. And today is also Asiolise's 11th birthday. Happy birthday. May God bless you, Angel. That's from your mom, dad, and your sister. Happy birthday.
This one going out to Megan or Megan. I would like to wish my niece, Megan, who is in Germany, a happy 21st birthday. May the Lord bless you in all that you do, and may He always guide you in all the directions that you take. Stay awesome, stay amazing. Love from your mom and the entire family in South Africa. Africa. Love it, love it, love it.
You are missed.
This one going to Nomonde. Happy birthday to this beautiful woman who we call Mother. Enjoy your day, moms, from your kids and grandchild. Happy birthday, Nomonde.
And then a happy birthday to our little princess, Devania. Happy 8th birthday today, you gorgeous young thing. May you grow healthy and successful. And then a happy birthday to this gorgeous lady. I'm not just saying that, that's what the message says. Megan Nonoza, may you be blessed with many more years to come. May there be nothing but love and light that shine on your path. Much love from Tsadiso.
Oh, I love this one. Also saying a happy and blessed birthday to our mom, Giselda Edwards. Wishing you many, many more. Love from your daughters, Gabrielle and Cassidy. Happy birthday. Also, I would like to wish the amazing and handsome man in my life a happy birthday. This one going out to Nsako. Stay sweet and humble as you are. May Allah grant you many more years to come from your wifey, Nishat. I like that one.
So happy birthday from my side. I'm going to scoot across to the lads. We're going to talk sport. Of course, the US Open played out late last night. Some incredible victories outside of all the rugby action. I'm going to go.
I thought you were scooting. Anyways, if you want to send a very happy birthday message, you can do so, but try a 15-second video, and you need to just send it to this number, 071-640-6551. That number again for a 15-second video, 071-640-6551. Well, let's go and check out what's happening in the world of sport. Here's G.
And the lads, we've got Morgan and Ash here to continue talking sport after a bumper weekend of sports. We know the rugby is going to be dominating for the next few months. Very much so, but of course we can take nothing away from the one Grand Slam that everyone wants to win, especially Serena Williams wants to overtake that key number of 24. The fourth time she's been in a Grand Slam final, and
It's not happening.
The fourth time she has not been able to show up on the day. She did show an incredible fight back, but we know that she likes to lead from the front. And unfortunately, once when you're approaching someone in their moment of becoming, I think, and she's had that with Naomi. She's had it in spades, and now she had it with Bianca Andreescu, a young woman with an unbelievable power game.
19 years old, they're unbelievable.
First Canadian to do it.
As well. So, just Serena's serve, I think, let her down. Quite a few crucial double faults there, and she just couldn't get going. And Bianca, she just kept her game together, kept it cool under pressure, and she pulled it through in the end. I mean, straight sets, that's the thing to be done against Serena.
Against Serena, and I think you get the feeling that these young women have kind of trained their whole life for this moment. That's the one sculpt that they want to get. But what does this say? When we look at how many young women have broken into the top, I mean, now Bianca is, I think, 5th as of today, will be 5th in the rankings. She was 15th a couple of weeks ago. She was outside of 150 literally a few weeks ago. How strong is the women's game at the moment?
I mean, we've spoken so many times. We said, when Naomi beat her, we said it's the handing over of the baton. Now Andreescu comes along, it's the handing over. How many times is the baton going to be handed over, So I just feel so sorry for Serena. I'm a massive fan, and coming back after having just given birth to a kid and all that, she just can't win the 20th one, it's just so difficult.
I can hear that city. Someone had money on a game. I think someone had a little something extra riding on a performance here. But take nothing away from her fight back in that second set to come back in those 4 games on the trot. Absolutely amazing. But
she will do it. She will get there. I'm telling you. Serena will get there.
She's not going to stop until she's got 24.
I'm confident, Morgan.
Don't put money on it. Don't put money on it.
I'm not a gambling man, so that's why I can say it.
But I think she's going to be okay. I think she'll be all right. Just to put it in perspective, when you talk about someone as great as Nadal, who's now got number 19, took Medvedev in a thriller, almost going 5 hours. I think those that stayed up all night to watch it will certainly give their money's worth. He's only on 19. Federer's only on 20, and she's on 23. So she's got her legacy. But for Rafa Nadal, I think now people are starting to talk about him in the same sentence as Roger Federer. I mean, he's always been a great champion, but now he has an opportunity to etch his name in history as well. And he had to work for this one, man.
He was 2 sets up and I think 4-3 in the third, and I switched off. I thought, okay, that's it, game over. And I wake up this morning, 5-setter, But Medvedev, top player, watching this first few sets, the way he kept in the games, always fighting back, chasing the balls down. You could see that he's not just going to give up. And to win the third and fourth sets just show the character of the guy.
Is this the golden era of sport? And it's transferring across every kind of sporting genre at the moment. But to have players like Roger Federer, like even Djokovic, who's slightly younger, yes, but to have the Nadal still winning titles in this time, I mean, how special is it to be a sports broadcaster during these times, dude?
I mean, are we not just in literally sports heaven? I think, you know, across the board, all sport, we've got these. And you know what's nice is in the past there's always been one individual head and shoulders above the rest, the Michael Jordans, the Pete Sampras's at the time, you know, and now we've got Nadal, Djokovic, Federer still up there, top 3 in the world. You know, the golfing world is also array with heaps of talent, and it's just so fantastic. I mean, we're in for a treat.
Did you retire too early, bro?
No, I called it perfect timing. Perfect timing. When you see what's coming through now, perfect timing, let me tell you.
And don't forget that Nadal and Federer's coming to Cape Town next February.
Sold out.
You can see them in the flesh, in the flesh.
Oh, it's awesome. If you did get a ticket, congratulations. Take nothing away from the battle royale playing out in the UK, or that's now played out in the UK. I think we expected so much from England coming off their World Cup victory in the shorter format of the game. But Australia have proved their mettle yet again in the Ashes and dominant in the fourth.
Yeah. Look, the Aussies were always going to be hungry to take this one, the Ashes. After what happened at the World Cup. So, but the way they've sort of, despite the batting issues that they still have, of course carried by Steve Smith, unbelievable again, double 100 in this game, 80 odd in the second innings. You know, people's comparing him to Bradman now, and rightly so. He's averaging, I think, 64.71 in Test cricket in this modern day where a lot is geared towards favouring the fast bowlers. That's an unbelievable stat, you know. So, yeah, amazing performance by Australia.
So we're going to round this off now very quickly with our own very heartfelt send-off, Brew. I know you're a little bit jealous. You have one of the best gigs in the world because you get to talk about rugby every day. You might have the best gig in the world because you're actually going to be but and an official kind of partner to the Springboks in terms of getting that message out there, buddy. So we're going to be Skyping a lot. We're going to expect daily updates from you, but congratulations, my friend.
No, thanks a lot.
You worked really hard for this one. Please stay safe out there and soak up every second, and hopefully be there to report on the Springboks winning this
just want the tournament to start now. You know, it's been long build up, Rugby Championship, the Japan warm-up game, so now we're there, All Blacks in 2 weeks' time.
His bag's been packed for about 3 weeks, but I don't know, that puffer jacket's going to be a bit hot in Japan at the moment.
And all I'm doing is trying to lose weight so I can get into his suitcase.
We're going to do a big duffel bag. We can do it. But Ash, all the best of luck, Morgan. So good to have you here. I have a feeling we're going to speak to you a lot as the World Cup actually kicks off now. The clock is ticking, but gentlemen, thank you so much. What a weekend of sport.
In the national news this morning, police have confirmed that one person has died following renewed violence in the Johannesburg CBD yesterday. The Gauteng Police Commissioner, Elias Mawena, has pleaded with residents of the area to allow government to deal with violence in some areas. In the ongoing attacks, foreign nationals and their businesses are being targeted, with some shops being burnt and looted. Police confirmed that some hostile tenants were inciting the violence after disrupting the former Inkatha Freedom Party leader Mangosuthu Buthelez's speech earlier yesterday. The courageous and fighting spirit of Uyenene Mkhwetiana, who was raped and killed allegedly by a post office employee in Cape Town last month, will live on through a fellowship created in her honour. This was announced at the slain 19-year-old's funeral in Beacon Bay, East London, on Saturday morning to a hall full of family members and friends. University of Cape Town Vice-Chancellor Mamokgethi Phakeng told mourners that a scholarship in film and media studies will be called the Uyenene Mkhwetiana Scholarship for Women in Humanities Studies. On the international front, an estimated 1 million people yesterday attended a mass celebrated by Pope Francis on the outskirts of Madagascar's capital city, Antananarivo, the Vatican had said. Addressing worshippers, the Pope spoke out against what he termed the patronage, which introduces a few rich people while the vast majority live in grinding poverty. The gathering has been described as the largest public gathering in Madagascar's history. Madagascar is the second part of his three-leg Africa tour. He has already visited Mozambique, and his next stop is Mauritius. Hong Kong protesters yesterday sang the Star-Spangled Banner and called on US President Donald Trump to liberate the Chinese-ruled city. This is the latest in a series of demonstrations that have gripped the territory for months. Police stood by as protesters, under a sea of umbrellas against the subtropical sun, waved the stars and stripes and placards appealing for democracy after another night of violence in the 14th week of unrest. Last month, Trump has suggested that China should humanely settle the problem in Hong Kong before a trade deal is reached with Washington. And finally, a 26-year-old South African designer, Thebe Magugu, has become the first African to win the Louis Vuitton Prize, a prestigious award for young fashion designers that was launched in 2013. Magugu beat more than 1,700 applicants to the almost 5 million rand prize money and will also receive a year's mentoring by the French multinational luxury goods conglomerate headquarters in Paris. Now, judges praised Magugu for the originality of his use of cut, color and materials, the innate femininity of his easy-to-wear pieces, and his incorporation of the South African story. Originally from Kimberley, Magugu's designs his own self-titled ready-to-wear women's line. He earlier told Vogue that his overarching mission as a designer was to showcase a contemporary South Africa, and he does this with tremendous success. Well, that was your 7 o'clock news update. Here's another look at what's happening in the world of sport with Graham.
Let's kick it off with rugby. Makazole Mapimpi scoring a hat-trick as the Springboks claimed a comfortable, in the end, 41-7 win over Japan. That was in their Rugby World Cup warm-up match at the Kumagaya Athletic Stadium on Friday. Boks scoring 5 tries against the World Cup host nation. Tyson Colby grabbing a brace while Bok rookie Herschel Yankees kept up his impressive form, scoring yet another try for the team. Mapimpi, though, who scored 3 tries, joined an elite list as he became one of the few Springboks to grab a test hat-trick. And staying with rugby, but bringing it back home, the Free State Cheetahs survived a thrilling late comeback from the Golden Lions to be crowned the 2019 Currie Cup champions, scoring a narrow 31-28 win in Bloemfontein on Saturday. Cheetahs scoring all of their points in the first half, outplaying the Lions in almost every department during that first 40 minutes. The Lions, however, came back in the final 10 minutes of the match, scoring 3 times, but came up just short of what would have been a sensational comeback. Then on to tennis. Talk about sensation. Teenager Bianca Andreescu stunned 23-time Grand Slam winner Serena Williams 6-3, 7-5, while second seed Rafa Nadal beat Russian Daniil Medvedev in a thriller 7-5, 6-3, 5-7, 4-6, 6-4 in 4 hours and 51 minutes to be crowned the 2019 US Open champion in the men's draw. So this was Nadal's 19th Grand Slam win, while Canadian 15th seed Andreescu, she claimed a first Grand Slam title and denied Williams a 24th major win. And on to motorsports, a thrilling weekend there as well. Ferrari's Charles Leclerc held off Mercedes teammates Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton to claim his second successive Formula One victory at the Italian Grand Prix yesterday. So last weekend, the 21-year-old secured his maiden win in Belgium, of course, and Leclerc beating both Mercedes drivers, with Bottas finishing ahead of the reigning world champion Lewis Hamilton, who had to settle for 3rd spot on the podium. And then we round off with tragic news on the rugby front. On Friday, by now you probably would have heard the news that Springbok legend Chester Williams sadly passed away at the age of just 49 on Friday. It was believed the former Bok wing suffered a heart attack. The tragic news comes just 2 months after former Springbok James Small's death. Both Williams and Small were a part of South Africa's 1995 Rugby World Cup winning squad. Williams played 27 tests for the Boks, scoring 14 tries between 1993 and the year 2000. We send all of our love and condolences to his family. That's where we leave our sport for now.
Well, let's take a look at what's happening on our roads at the moment. Starting off with Soweto in Gauteng, there has been an accident on the N1 northbound. This is before the Diepkloof interchange. There will be some heavy delays that can be expected, so please keep a lookout for that area. Also in Boksburg in Gauteng on the N12 eastbound, there is a stationary vehicle before Rondebolt Road obstructing the left lane, so please do approach with caution. Then on the Cape Flats Flats line, there is an extended travel time of 50 to 20 minutes on the Cape Flats line due to the defective track circuits at Ndabeni, and there will be speed restrictions as well. Let's take a look at what's happening in the weather next.
So, Smuda, all of this for $1 monthly fees.
Money, money. Money, money.
We've asked you to send in your sunrise pictures. This one from Drini Vermaak, who sent us his sunrise from Scottsboro with plenty of sunshine that can be expected there and a northeasterly breeze reaching a maximum of 23 degrees. Also, Wilma Lederman sent us this sunrise picture from Acerfontein, where mainly sunny conditions can be expected with very warm temperatures and high humidity reaching a maximum of 27 degrees. Let's take a look at some of the other temperatures. Polokwane, you're looking at a low of 7 rising to 25. Mbombela, a low of 9 reaching 24. Pretoria, 11 rising to 27. There will be plenty of sunshine for Johannesburg, 10 rising to 24 degrees. Mahikeng, a low of 7 reaching 27. Klerksdorp, 8 to 26. Kimberley, 7 reaching 27. And then the lowest temperature in the country this morning is for Bloemfontein with a low of 3 rising to 26 degrees. Richards Bay, 13 reaching 26. Pietermaritzburg, 9 rising to 28. Durban, there will be some high humidity for you with a low of 15 reaching 23 degrees. Mthatha, 8 rising to 31. East London, 15 reaching 29. Cradock, 7 rising to 32. There will be a southwesterly wind of 15 kilometers per hour for Port Elizabeth with temperatures of 16 reaching 26 degrees. George, 13 reaching 24. And then Sutherland, there's a southwesterly wind of 22 kilometers for you with a temperature of 8 rising to 26 degrees. Some high humidity for Cape Town today, 14 reaching 22. And then the highest temperature in the country is for Worcester with a low of 14 and a high of 31 degrees. Springbok, 13 reaching 31. And finally Uppington, 12 rising to 30 degrees today. I'll have another update for you at 7:30.
So don't bottle up your love, let it flow free. We're in a bit of a jam, a bit of a pickle this morning. No, it's actually exactly what we do. And we're going to be bottling, we're going to be jamming for the culinary hotline. Bling!
Sing, sing, sing!
And Mama Miriam is here as well. We'll see you in a mo.
My name is Nadia Jafta. I am a South African influencer / entertainer, and you probably best know me for my videos on YouTube and Instagram, specifically with my mom. I am super excited to go to the island for the vibes, for the sea, for the challenges, and just for the people, and for the money. My flavor, as you can see, is cool red. I'm red because that is the color the other contestants are going to see when I take home that money. To join me on the island, all you have to do is buy a Tropica, follow the entry details on the bottle, take a video of yourself telling me why you would be my ideal partner, and upload it onto all social media platforms with the hashtag TIOT9. Here are some of my tips on how you can make your video entry stand out. Use a little bit of humor. Be confidently you. Also, if you are a guy, it doesn't hurt to have a six-pack, just saying. Join me in paradise and come find your smooth fame and fortune.
Heck no, I don't listen to techno. Maybe just a little, but I never let my friends know. The band said I shouldn't, so I didn't, cause they said so. Why would a band ever wanna go electro? Metal heads moshing, me stuck at the bottom. I'll grow until I got 'em, all stuck in a trance. One day I'll have a techno band, you're gonna be in it. One day I'll have a techno band, you're gonna be in it. One day I'll have a techno band, you're gonna be in it. One day I'll have a techno band, you're gonna be in it. Boom, bam, no, bam, no, dam, ba, dang. Hey, karaka, 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 woo, skip it, bop it, boo, the bam, bam. Oh yes, I like the flavor. Boom, tango, dang, dang. Hey, karaka, chicka, bam, bam, dang. It's gonna be bam, bam, dang. Oh yeah. Yes, I like the flavor. Everybody wants to get this song on radio. DJs these days don't want to play a rock song sliding on the wooden floor.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Call us on your cell phone. Culinary hotline bling. That can only mean one thing.
It can only mean one thing. Welcome back. You're live with Expresso. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hey, it's Monday. I feel like I'm speaking in an auditorium at the moment. It's an auditorium of food. It's time for the culinary hotline bling. Sing, sing, sing. So here's a good tip right off the bat. When fruits or veggies are in season, they are obviously a lot cheaper. So buy bunches of ruby red beetroot if you can, or a box of plump tomatoes. The love fruits, I think of the love apple. I'm going to ask someone to explain that to me. And then preserve them by bottling or making a delicious jam. Very clever. So here to give us a little taste, excuse the pun, of their bottled beetroot and a jam, we've got our Jamalicious kitchen darlings, Mama Miriam and Anel. You are Jamalicious, sisters. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We love you. We love bottled things because they're sweeter, they're pickled, there's flavors in there, and it's quite economical because we've got beautiful seasonal fruits, so you want to capitalize. The humble beetroot, it is amazing. So this is going to be kind of a roadmap for doing all kinds of bottling of things. Okay, preserving things, pickling things. What do I need if I want to bottle? Don't keep it bottled up. What do I need if I want to bottle? What equipment essentially do I need?
Think about one thing that you've been mentioning the whole time.
A bottle.
Okay.
And how often do we have, because if you want to speak about sustainability in your own kitchen.
Exactly.
I'm forever washing things that I've used. Use them again. Reuse.
Yes.
You've got the glass, you've got them, okay?
Yeah.
Bottle.
Save the money.
Exactly.
And then you just have to sterilize them, and it's so easy to sterilize because you just have to wash it well. Yes. Wash it well. Then I pop it upside down like that to dry.
Okay.
And then I pop it up again like that and in the oven at 180 degrees for 10 minutes, and they're sterilized.
Okay.
Finished class.
Because that's important because you're sealing it in there.
Yeah.
And if there's any kind of little microbials, any bacteria or anything in there, that's going to affect obviously the preserving process, I would assume.
It's going to ferment them, and that's what we don't want.
Okay, unless you are actually pickling, which we've done in bottles as well. Mama Miriam, we love you because you bring deliciousness into our kitchen.
Yeah, thank you.
And we are going to be making something that it looks spectacular just because the beetroot has the most resplendent color. Okay, so we're going to be making a pickle, in this case, beetroot pickle. How do we start? Take us through the process.
Now I'm going to give Anel the beetroot. Anel, you need to cut the beetroot now. You must cut it, baby.
It's boiled first.
Yes, it is boiled first. Yes.
And look what I've got on.
I know.
Surgical gloves.
I was going to say, because we're going to do this with surgical precision. No, I mean, anyone who has worked with beetroot will know that the dye power, if you want to use
just
something
like
to dye, do it. But I've also heard, maybe you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but to boil the beetroot first before you peel it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
Yes, and the thing is, you want it soft, so you can boil it or you can bake it. Or put it in, and just make sure that it's soft.
But this one is boiled.
It's boiled.
Yeah, this one is boiled.
How do we make this sauce? Like the pickling sauce?
You have to start with the water, Anel.
Oh, so just a little bit of water?
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to go. Oh, you.
Ole.
Ole.
And we want a bit of drama.
Vinegar.
Yes, please.
A bit of vinegar, yeah.
A bit of sugar.
Bit of sugar.
Now sweetness is coming.
Yeah.
Not sourness.
The sweetness that you bring into the kitchen.
Yes.
And I mean, that's beetroot makes a lovely jam as well, which is great. But here you've got an opportunity to have a bit of sweet, bit of sour.
This is peppercorns, ne?
Yes, it is.
And to add a bit of pizzazz.
And that thing, when you eat it, you'll feel that it's so lekker.
Yeah, you need a bit of heat as well. So
Yeah.
this really does allow you to have a complete balance.
Okay, and so you just boil this till it's dissolved.
You're
No,
gonna
the
reduce
sugar
that
is
down,
dissolved.
okay.
Yeah, okay.
A little bit more.
That's it. That's it. So that is your pickling liquid. We're going to just
Stir it a little bit.
Where's the love?
Put the love in. You see,
You know what? When you stir it, you must give that smile.
You must
And I
smile. There we go.
love beetroot.
And swirl the hips.
You can
Swirl
call
your
it
hips while you're doing it. You've got to kind of feel.
You can do it like this. You know?
I've been saying we need good music to cook to in this kitchen.
Yes.
I love the flavor profile of beetroot lends itself to pickling as well. When you've kind of broken it down, because it's got that earthiness to it. It's absolutely delicious, sweet or sour. This kind of, for me, it gives the perfect accompaniment. You can imagine using your beetroot pickle with cheeses. Delicious, delicious.
So I just put this in now, Mama.
Yes, please.
In the pickling liquid. And who doesn't love a beautiful beetroot salad for Sunday?
And we're buying at the moment. We kind of focused on picnics last week, and this is the ideal thing you can keep and even gift it. Put it in a beautiful bottle, kind of make it look amazing. So the keyword here is eat. SMS eat to 33728. We'll send you a link. You click on the link. We send you the ingredients list for our pickled ginger.
How long do they have to boil now? For about
plus, I can say 4 to
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Okay, so it's quite a quick process.
It's a quick process. Yeah. So we're just going to cut this. I love the earthiness of it, Graham. Just taste this, sorry.
Yeah,
I don't want to bugger up your suit as well. Mama?
Give me red lips. Oh, no, and that's sweet.
Isn't that delicious?
That is beautiful.
Okay,
So we're going to let our mixture reduce down.
Yeah.
And then we're going to bottle it. So we're going to actually create our own pickle right here, keep it here, and then eat it whenever we want, because we love it, and that's the joy of being able to pickle.
I've been like in a horror movie.
Someone went to go and watch it over the last week, man. You're joining the craze. Mama Miriam, thank you so much. That is beautiful, delicious, and I think a frugal way of making sure that we capitalize on our seasonal fruits, our seasonal root vegetables. And this, in terms of a flavor profile, is going to give you a real punch, something delicious, something sweet, something a little bit sour, and something with a bit of a kick, a bit of a kwetsa.
And you know what? When you are doing beetroot jam, you need to make sure that you don't rush. Take your time.
And smile.
When you rush, and you must smile, of course. And you know, when I make my beetroot, I like to say, Sarah, hua, because I know it's nice.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm going
Sarah.
to
1, 2, 3, Sarah, hua.
Ta-da! Hua, indeed. Now, no matter your age, it's never too late to get fit. As you grow older, an active lifestyle becomes even more important than ever before when it comes to your health. Now, Oasis Retirement Dance Troupe, driven by 78-year-old Ilana Slomowitz, who teaches fitness classes including dance, Pilates, and yoga. Dance has many health benefits, including improved muscle tone and strength, weight management, and greater self-confidence and self-esteem. So here to show us how they use dance as a way to stay fit, please help me welcome fitness instructor Ilana, along with a few gogos from her various classes. Make some noise, show them some love. Gogos in the house. Oh. Ilana, so good to have you here, and of course all the beautiful ladies here that are going to be showing us some incredible things. But let's talk about the role of fitness, having fun as you do it as well. As one gets older, how important is that?
I think that as one gets older, being involved in physical activity and exercise is probably one of the most important and significant factors in keeping your mind alert, keeping your body trim, keeping your memory awake, keeping your balance, keeping your mobility and flexibility. It incorporates all of these aspects. And so when I started this little group of ladies at the retirement home, which we've only been dancing there for about 1.5 years, it has literally made an enormous difference to the quality of their lives, as it has mine. Let's be honest, we're no longer chickens, but we're still clucking.
Chickens, I love it. So what are you going to be doing for us this morning?
So what we're going to do today is give you a little taste of what a section of a dance class is like.
Okay.
This is not a performance. We have not rehearsed a performance for you.
Okay.
We are going to give you a taste of what I do with these ladies in a dance class, and many times I get screwed up and I forget what I'm supposed to do and I take them off in another direction, and they just got to follow me, and that's the way it is.
Well, they will follow you indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, the Oasis Retirement Dance Group, here they go.
Yes!
Yes!
Here we go.
Heck no, I don't listen to techno. Maybe just a little, but I never let my friends know. The band said I shouldn't, so I didn't, cause it said so. Why would a band ever wanna go electro? Metalhead's Martian. Me stuck at the bottom. I'll grow until I got them. All stuck in a track. One day I'll have a techno band. You're gonna be in it.
Grapevine.
One day I'll have a techno band. You're gonna be in it. One day I'll have a techno band. You're gonna be in it.
Grapevine.
One day I'll have a techno band. You're gonna be in it. Boom, bam, 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 hey,
Stand kick.
skip it, bam, 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 bam. Oh yes, I like the flavor. Oh yes, I like the flavor. Everybody wants to get this on the radio. DJs these days don't wanna play a rock song. Sliding on the wooden floors with nothing but your socks on. Works like a Prozac, handsy tops, bobble heads bobbing. Me stuck at the bottom. I've grown till I got 'em. All stuck in a trance. One day I'll have a techno band. You're gonna be in it. One day I'll have a techno band. You're gonna be in it. One day I'll have a techno band. You're gonna be in it.
Again.
One day I'll have a techno band. You're gonna
Take it back.
be in it.
One.
Oh yes, I like the flavor. Oh yes, I like the flavor.
Keep going, ladies. Keep going. How much fun is that? We're going to be right back after the break where we're going to be doing our fitness part 2. Let's go. I want to get involved. It's so much fun. Can I?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
As if you were the sax man. Bang those drums.
On the next episode of The Next Brand Ambassador, things kick up a notch as the top 12 get their first challenge working for a real brand.
Things are about to get serious now.
Right about now, I'm going to actually ask who's got issues.
Kanye comes in, guns blazing.
What is happening?
Kanye should be coming in your heart.
Honey, I told you so. As always, Tennille has something to say. Bye-bye.
That's The Next Brand Ambassador, Thursday at 7:30 p.m. on SABC3.
Singing sensation Brenda Mtambo will be ending off Women's Month with a prize. It's all about highlighting the achievements of women from all backgrounds, of all races, and the impact they've made not only
is sensational. Every time she opens her mouth to sing, every time she gets on a stage, I get goosebumps.
I think tonight's performance is by far of her shows that she's done in Joburg and outside of Joburg, and today she pulled out all the stops. I mean, I don't know how many outfit changes.
What makes it extra special is that Brenda took a leap of faith by owning her material and doing a concert on her own.
of such a lovely evening filled with such powerful and passionate performances. A huge congratulations goes out to Brenda Mtambo for pulling off such a world-class and relevant event, 2020 edition of Women Rise.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
call us on your cell phone. Culinary hotline bling. That can only mean
yeah, you can't call us right now, but you can post your questions on our Facebook page. Welcome back. It is indeed the Culinary Hotline Bling. Ting, ting, ting. You've got to feel it in your hips. You've got to feel it in your bones. Did you know that another name for a tomato is a love apple because of its shape? I was going to ask that question, but I've answered it because we absolutely love cooking with them. We want to make sure that we can savor them when they are in season. So maybe we're going to make a little bit of chili love apple jam. We've got Anel and Miriam standing by to do just that. Ladies, thank you so much. We are going on a pickling and a jamming journey, if you will, today. In season, we want to be able to capitalize and save money, yes, but we've got beautiful fruit jam. We want to be able to kind of keep that all year round. Tomatoes in their various kind of different forms. What's the best way of preserving or hanging on to a good love apple, as I now know they are called?
I like to hang on them in different forms. It's probably my favorite fruit or vegetable. I don't know what it is. These people, they confuse me. But there's a lot of lycopene in it, and it is cancer prevention. So I eat at least 2 tomatoes a day. Just in case.
Love the texture, love them fresh.
Everything.
But they also pickle well. So what are the best ways to preserve a tomato? How many ways can you do it?
You can freeze them by just putting them whole on a tray like this. They mustn't touch each other.
Okay.
You put it in the freezer, you freeze them for a few hours, and then you package them in bowls. Okay. And you can use this in your pastas or anything that you make, as a pasta sauce. The other way is drying.
Would you cook with them from frozen or defrost them first?
No, we will defrost them first. Or you can defrost them even in the pot.
In the pot.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Very cool. Then?
Drying.
Who hasn't had a nice sun-dried
tomato?
Oh, yes, it's so lekker.
It's so lekker, especially if it's in a bit of olive oil and a bit of vinegar, and it lies in there and it takes up all that flavors and it softens it a little bit.
And a very different flavor profile to what a tomato would normally be. So I like it. You can almost kind of dry them out and then pickle them as well. How do you sun-dry a tomato? Just put it in the sun.
I'm sure you can do that, and that's why they call it sun-dried tomatoes. But what I do, I just slice them thinly, or about 5 millimeter thick.
Okay.
And then put them on a tray that's prepared with baking paper. Put them in there, and then you just in the oven dehydrate them at 100 degrees.
Okay,
so you can put it in the
night
before, and then the next morning you can just take it out, and it will be dry.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, and just chipping them. In olden days, my grandmother used to cut them and put them outside, and she'll sit there and put a net on top of it.
Yes,
that's what they used to do.
I was going to say, otherwise you're going to lose half to the birds and bees. I think
those are delicious, isn't it?
As a flavour additive to cook pastas and things with it, absolutely amazing. So we pickled them, we've frozen them, and we have sun-dried them or oven-dried them out. That's one way, or you can create the most delicious, amazing jam, which we're going to do. I'm looking at the ones that you've blanched here already and removed the skin. They look like little brains. Seeing as we're continuing on our It celebration this week.
This is like a little tomato brain.
A little tomato brain. Okay, so Naliki, you're going to use Miriam now as your beautiful assistant.
Yeah.
And you're going to be creating a beautiful chili jam.
Yeah.
Okay,
my mom used to make tomato jam. We had a huge garden, and that was what she used to make. So I've got really fond memories of that on a piece of her fresh bread, warm bread.
Yes.
So Miriam, you can just cut those up for me.
Okay, I'll do that. While I'm cutting, Anil, I just want to ask a question. Do I have to peel the tomato to make the jam?
No, not at all.
Really?
I
Okay.
made this yesterday, and I didn't peel them. You can actually see the peels inside there. I actually like the flavour of
Because sometimes in a jam you'll have rinds, you'll have just for a bit of extra texture, yeah?
Yeah.
But then you would have denied us the opportunity to see the really funky peels.
Exactly.
Take me through the process of blanching and peeling in this way, because the skin lifts off when you blanch.
Yes.
Does it not?
Yeah, so what you do is you cut like if the cameras can see it, there's like a cross cut in there.
Okay,
That
just
you've
on the
cut
crown,
in your
like right
normal
on the
tomato like
tip there,
that.
yeah?
And you just put it in boiling water for about 10-15 seconds. Take it off, and then you just peel the tomato like that.
Wow.
And you also don't have to take the pips and the juice out, because that is extra flavour.
Oh, for sure.
So Miriam, that looks amazing. You can put that in the pot so long, those ones can go to the pot.
Just turn our back for a second and there's 1,000.
I know.
slices.
And if you're lazy, you can just go
Just
like
squelch
this.
it.
No, we don't want
Make sure you
to
squish.
That's what I do.
And you go, hoorah, when you do that. Okay, that's how you do it.
What is that thing that you do? What did you just say?
Ta-da.
So just do it. Do it with your hand.
Oh, no,
Okay.
squish it, man. Squish it.
Then I'll do it like this.
Cheers, yeah. Hoorah! And then it becomes really cathartic as
lazy,
well.
man.
Okay, so tomatoes have gone in. We've blanched them. We've got the kind of flesh of the tomato, and then what else goes into the pot?
So that, say for a kilo of tomatoes, you add about 500 grams of sugar, half. Miriam, if you can just add that. And on a very slow temperature, because the sugar needs to dissolve first before it starts to boil. Otherwise, it crystallizes well. Sure. And I like to add a bit of black pepper.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
And this seems to be the vibe here. Even when making sweet jams, you still need balance. You still need the balance of salt, sweet. We know that tomatoes can be quite acidic in their base form anyway.
Yeah. And a bit of lemon juice for crystallization as well, to help that it doesn't crystallize. Now, the big thing about jams is to get it to the right temperature, because it's got a set temperature of 105 degrees.
Okay, and that you would use your little temperature
meter.
Okay.
But what's interesting in Cape Town, our boiling point is 100. It's 100, so it must go to 105 degrees. In Joburg, it's 95 about, so it must need to go to 100 degrees.
Altitude.
Yeah.
Cool. Lovely. Okay, so don't rush your jam. You know, don't rush. Like growing of the fruit needs to take time and patience. The making of your jam needs to take time and patience, but it's worth it when you arrive at that.
Yeah. So that takes about an hour.
Okay.
That's it. It's about an hour. You just leave it slowly, and you just have to stir it, Miriam, so it doesn't burn. Hey.
And then obviously we've sterilized our glass containers.
Do you like this moment? What cheese? I'm going to give you a piece of this cheese.
I know, the eternal question, what cheese do we pair?
This is a goat's cheese. Oh, and don't be sparing this gooi op.
Yeah.
It is heerlijk.
Because remember, the jam is the hero.
There you go, Miriam.
Can I taste it?
Yes.
We're not going to torture you by making you look at it and not eat it.
And this is beautiful for a cheese platter in summer.
Okay, I'm going to have a little bit of a taste here. The keyword here is sweet. SMS that to 33728 and we'll send you the full ingredients list to create your own chili jam. You can now think on that. In fact, stretch a little bit, warm yourself up.
Enjoy it.
So like
Can you taste that little bit of a...
Well, as we get older, staying fit is absolutely imperative when it comes to our mind, our muscles, our body, our heart health. So Ilana's here from Oasis Retirement Dance Troupe, and she's going to be taking us through some incredible stretches to make sure that we stay healthier for longer. Ilana, take it away.
Where's the music? Breathe. Lift up, drop your shoulders. Now, as you breathe out, bend your knees and sit down without. Yes. Now drop your head forward. Hang down. And roll up to sit. Now, sit up nice and tall. Sit forward in your chairs. Lift your shoulders and drop them. Now raise your right arm up and stretch to the left. Over you go. And up, breathe. And the other side, lift your arm. Deep breath in. And stretch. And up. And take two hands behind your head. Open your elbows wide. Now, bring your right elbow down to your right knee. Look up at your left elbow. And come up. Breathe. Nice. And the other side. Touch. And up. Now, close your elbows. Pull your chin down on your chest. And draw your elbows through your knees. Down you go. And bounce your head forward. Down. Down. Now drop your hands to the mat and lift your bum off the chair, straighten your knees, keep your hands on the floor and roll up to stand. Breathe. and roll your shoulders. And one more time, let's sit down. Take your arms up and sit down into your chairs. Down you go. Lower yourself. Now, keep your bum where it is and take your back to the chair. And draw your right knee to your chest. Pull it up against your body. Extend the leg up to the ceiling. Hold it there. Now climb your leg.
Absolutely wonderful. Ilana,
pull your head to your knee.
It's all about managing our health and our fitness so that we can stay healthier for longer. Ilana from the Oasis Retirement Dance Troupe, starting the Monday off in the best way.
My name is Pisi Khivazi. I'm a TV presenter. You might recognize me from Selimatunzi. To join me on the island to find fame and fortune, all you have to do is go buy yourself a bottle of Tropica and follow all the entry details. Take a video of yourself explaining why you would be my ideal partner. All you have to do is hashtag TIOT9 and upload that on all of your social media platforms. Join me on the island and come find your smooth fame and fortune on Tropica Island of Treasure, Carousel.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso right here on SABC3. Now, there are many moments in life when we need to make a good impression, and sometimes we need a few tips to get us through those tricky situations. We've seen the Presenter Search contestants have their time to shine with presenting, but you can also have a time to shine in your everyday life with Orbit Gum. So we've got you covered. If you're wondering what the best way to be a social butterfly is, then we have got life coach Anarine Rousseau from Anarine Rousseau Life Coaching right here to help you get out of your shell and be the life of the party. Anarine, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You know what? I love this. This is such a very important topic. There are so many people that are very comfortable in a public context at a social gathering, and then you have those that don't know where to even begin. What do I say? How do I be interesting? So how does one approach becoming a social butterfly when it comes to public interactions? What are some of the things that you should employ to kind of give your personality a bit of an upgrade?
I think I've got a couple of tips for you.
Yeah.
I think first of all, like let's say that you need to walk into a public party and you know no one.
Yes.
By keeping one thing in your mind, you're going to be more relaxed and therefore more social. So if you're thinking, I look fine, okay?
Yes.
You're going to be more relaxed. If you're thinking something like, I've got this, when you're walking into that public space, you're going to be that social butterfly. If you don't have that one thing in your mind, you're going to be thinking, oh my word, they're looking at me.
Yes.
Oh my word, this is not working. What am I going to say if they come and talk to me? Your mind is going to keep going with all of these thoughts. But if you walk in and you're quite confident and you say, okay, I've got this.
Yes.
Find a phrase, find something that you can repeat in your mind for you to be more relaxed, and then you'll be more of a social butterfly.
Not everybody's an extrovert. There are a lot of introverts, there are a lot of shy people that sometimes find that they have social anxiety when they walk into a new group or a social setting. How can people kind of get rid of the social anxiety when it comes to a party or a gathering in order to, you know, become that social butterfly that they want to become?
Yeah, first of all, I would just have to say that social anxiety is a thing,
Yes.
and if you do suffer from it, find professional help.
Yes, it's a real thing,
It's
yeah.
a real thing, yeah. But like, if someone had to come to see me to say, listen, they want to become a social butterfly, I would say things like, look at the way you are judging. Judgment of yourself and judgment of others. Because if you're walking into a room and you're not feeling judged by others, and you're not, it's almost like, you know, when you become, I think you've heard of it, there's like self-bullying, where all of a sudden you're, you know, you're bullying yourself to the extent that you have social anxiety. So if you start looking, it's not an easy thing to get right. It's something that you need to start doing slowly. Watch what you say about others. Watch what you say about yourself. Keep that anxiety level under control by not being so judgy. And then you'll find that you know, you're going to be less anxious. Another thing is, like, have a plan. So you're meeting someone new for the first time. Have a plan on what it is that you're going to say. Perhaps have a few questions. Asking questions to someone who you've met for the first time is a good way to kind of keep that conversation going. In general, people like to talk. So if you're asking them something, they're going to roll with it and they're going to answer your question.
Everybody usually talks about, oh, I would like to be popular, I would like to be popular, but there is a big distinction between being popular and being well-liked. Which is the one you should aspire to?
I think that's a personal thing. It's really a personal thing too, depending on what you want. Because remember that being popular is not the same as being well-liked.
Exactly. I always find that, because I think a lot of people don't know this about me, but I'm actually an introvert by nature.
So am I.
I really am. I think the one thing that helped me get over my shyness is being interesting. You know, being well-read and finding out about other people. Like, when you ask people about themselves, people love to talk about themselves. So instead of focusing on yourself, focus on other people and then have something interesting to say about them. And that's usually how you become likable to others.
Yes, I agree. I think that's brilliant.
Well,
Yes.
there we go. Irene and myself saving the world one step at a time. Thank you so much for joining us today. Well, you can step into the limelight and put your best foot forward. It's your time to shine with Orbit Gum. And remember to watch Presenter Search on 3, the Expresso edition, every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. on SABC3, where this week we'll see which Viewer's Choice entrant you have voted into the top 10, and I cannot wait. It's your time to shine with Presenter Search on 3 and Orbit Gum.
So welcome back to the kitchen as we prepare to make something that, I'm looking at the end result here, is absolutely delicious, but this is kind of a South African staple. Today we're stepping back into South African cooking history, really, with a crowd favorite, a crowd pleaser that has stayed in many kitchens across South Africa since 1924-ish. Here to show us how to make these very popular coconut and jam tartlets is Nel Potgieter and Miriam Tony. Mama Miriam. These are officially called herzogies, so it's quite a loaded name. So we're not going to focus on the name, we're going to focus on the deliciousness. These are an incredible little tartlet involving so many of our favorite South African flavors, like a beautiful apricot jam. But where do we even begin? Because there are a couple of different pastries involved, a couple of steps. So maybe should we start with the base?
No, we have to start with the dry ingredients.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for setting me straight. Okay, so what's going on in your pot, Mama Miriam?
Now this is my flour, and I'm going to put my custard sugar.
Okay.
And you put in a bit of coconut, eh?
And a little bit of coconut.
A little bit of desiccated coconut.
Then I must make sure that I mix my dry ingredients, and I have to rub in my butter.
Okay, we're using
I
our Mama
like
Bake.
rubbing in the butter.
You got to get your fingers
I like
in there.
it
Get
because
in
I'm
there.
a scones maker, so I rub it in and I rub it in.
And you've got to get that kind of like a crumbly
Yes, it has to be
texture.
crumbly. Yeah.
It's like a breadcrumb. It's like texture, hey, Mama?
Yes, it is. Then when you're done with rubbing, you must put your egg.
Okay.
Now you can see. Can you see that?
It's
It's going there.
The texture, okay.
Rub it. Don't forget your laugh, your
And your
smile.
I'll be nervous of doing a whoosah because now you've got flour and flour going up in the air and your eyes and
Then
everything.
you
So
put
just
your
got
egg in.
to be careful here.
Yes.
And don't be shy. You've got to feel your way through this one, eh? You've got to use your fingers. You've got to get stuck in.
Oh, it's coming. Can you see? It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
And don't be shy. If you don't get this right the first time, we're dealing with very practiced hands here.
It's true.
So it might take you a while to get in, but you just got to feel your way through it. Get stuck in and do it.
When you use butter, don't use your hand, use your fingers.
Use your fingertips.
You know why? Because your inner hand is hot.
So it's going to melt the mama bake in this cake. But while we focused on our mama bake, it's 80% fat spread, which makes it ideal for baking, I think, which is a fantastic baking ingredient, yes, but we know it's also been fortified with vitamin A and D, ideal for all your yummy bakes to get a little bit of extra nutrients squeezed in. Your Clover margarine range caters for just about every kind of consumer from our everyday use. Obviously, slap it on a lovely piece of bread. Baking healthy, living, I think, on the go. It really is convenient. It's an ideal cooking aid in this case, or a baking aid in this case. So we've got the right kind of texture here. We've got our kind of shortbread base sorted. What's next?
Now we have to make the topping.
Okay.
And that is with beautiful desiccated coconut and some egg white that we've beaten up. And we've got some mama bake inside here with some caster sugar again. And I'm going to add some coconut.
Okay, so now you're being quite liberal with the coconut because that's a big part of the flavor profile. It's balancing the beautiful apricot jam with the coconutty, the toasted coconutty kind of flavor.
I love coconut, I must say.
So do I.
Bit of egg in here, beaten
so
egg.
you've separated the eggs, you've beaten the white's still soft or a relative heat there. And
it's my arms, it's net.
Yeah, but
after Friday night's dancing.
I know. Someone was at the Italian club on the weekend. We did our stretching this morning, thankfully, just to ease those soft muscles. So
you just fold it in here.
How important is it? Because you've created a peak within the egg whites. You don't want to kind of break that down again completely. So the folding process, you've got to be quite careful.
Just to keep it light. So that's done. So if you can add some apricot jam.
Okay, about how much?
I think be generous.
Okay.
About 2 teaspoons, I'll say. Fill it up. It needs to be quite a bit.
So it's like a real...
Yeah. What do you say, Miriam?
Yes, 2 full teaspoons.
Yeah. Then you can add a bit on there.
So that one's getting a little bit more than that, I think. This is going to be amazing.
You're good.
You can use, and you could make your own jam and put your own jam in there that you've made yourself, seeing as we've been making jams.
If you want to give it like something different, add some of that tomato chili jam.
Can I ask you a question?
You can.
Can you cook?
I can. I can, actually. I can say that unashamedly.
I'm happy.
No, I've learned, because I get to share kitchens with you guys. So just purely through osmosis, just by being in your presence, something has absorbed in there. Now, I enjoy it. I think like you, I love infusing love and creativity and doing something. Baking, I'm a little bit nervous of because it's a bit more of a science. I can't just like you just feel with my... but I absolutely love it. No, it's one of the great privileges of my life, being able to cook with amazing chefs like that. So, I absolutely love it. So the key word here is clover to 33728. While we wrap up the final stage, so now we're going to put our topping on top, which is going to be quite a delicate part of the process. Mama Miriam's going to do that with love and aplomb while we go through a bit of a blow-by-blow of how we take these basic ingredients and turn them into our herzoggies.
Clover Fresh Milk is the #1 milk brand in SA. Made with love by Clover.
Try your hand at making one of South Africa's most delicious desserts, Clover Mama Bake Herzoggies. These jam and coconut tartlets are as simple as they are indulgent. To a bowl, add 100 grams of caster sugar, 200 grams of cubed Clover Mama Bake, and 350 grams of self-raising flour. Then rub together until the mixture has the consistency of breadcrumbs. Next, add 50 grams of desiccated coconut and 1 large egg. Then combine until you've got a ball of dough. Pop it into the fridge for 30 minutes. Divide the dough and press it into a greased muffin tray. and bake at 180 degrees Celsius for about 8 to 10 minutes. Spoon in generous dollops of your favorite apricot jam and set aside. Next, combine 300 grams of caster sugar with 80 grams of clover mama bake and beat until pale and fluffy. Before beating in 3 egg yolks, one at a time, adding 200 grams of desiccated coconut and folding to combine. In a separate bowl, whisk the 3 egg whites, then add it to the coconut crumb and fold again. Spoon the topping over the tartlets and bake at 180 degrees Celsius for 10 to 12 minutes. Clover Mama Bake hertzoggies are jam-packed with delicious apricot and coconut. A flavor combination that will make your taste buds do a little happy dance with every bite you take.
Made with love by Clover.
Oh man, the keyword is Clover to 33728. I'm that excited because I'm looking at this and I'm looking at this and I'm understanding the layers of deliciousness that are involved. Just very quickly, so we've baked our bases first in a muffin tin for about 10 minutes, you were saying, and then how long to complete the deal?
About 10 to 15 minutes at about 180 degrees.
Okay, well, ladies, well, we, yes, are amazed at how amazing these look. You've earned yourself the right. Here is
Mariam, can you break it in half? I think I'm going to share with you. Or do you want one on your own?
Now is not the time for restraint. Look at that. Then you've got the jam and the filling is all melted through. The keyword here, again, is Clover to 33728. My mouth waters too much for me to actually talk. We're going to take a quick ad break. We'll see you on the other side. I'm going to have one of mine. I'm having a whole one. I'm sorry.
Clover Fresh Milk is the #1 milk brand in SA. Made with love by Clover.
Ukuthi tu azizobona ukuthi kasana hayi bayajika bazongapha ngothu ngibonile bona ndithi asizobona na ukuthi ayikuthi nje sizibona hayi sazibona manihlongo esozinqola kusiza practice.
You guys can just keep going. And then later we sit like volume tables for everybody.
Siyaqala ngoba kasi practice. Practice.
Okay, everything go?
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, you beautiful souls. Thank you so much for tuning in. Excuse me, I was stuffing my face with hertzoggies before we went into the break. It's been an awesome Monday morning. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm glowing in part because of the incredible sporting action we were treated to over the weekend. Formula One continued this weekend with the Italian Grand Prix, and that took place obviously at the legendary Monza circuit, which is one of the oldest, in fact, has the oldest, longest running relationship with Formula One. Incident-filled, controversial race won by Ferrari's Charles Leclerc to make it 2 from 2, and obviously in front of an Italian crowd that would have made it even more momentous. Motoring journalist and friend Charlene Raymond is here. Buddy,
Graham, good morning.
You called it, dude.
Well, I think it was pretty obvious that Charles Leclerc would be the driver to beat this weekend, and it was the case. He literally drove a magnificent race to seal victory. for the Scuderia.
Oh man, for Ferrari's fans, I mean, you could see what it meant for all Italians were celebrating.
Yes, yes.
Even the other Italian-based teams got in on the act there. They just took it as a group win for the country, more than for Ferrari, but an important win for Ferrari to keep the momentum going from last weekend. For Leclerc, who did after the race say that this was his toughest drive, probably his toughest moment because he was pushed.
Yes.
How did he win it? What was the thing? Was it pure fortitude, mental strength? How was he able to win it in a very fast car?
Simply put, the Ferrari is unstoppable and nearly unbeatable in a straight line. That's why. And Ferrari made the strategic call to put him on the hard tyre, the slower tyre. But even though Hamilton was on, yes, it went the distance. But even though Hamilton was on the medium tyre, which was faster than the hard tyre, Leclerc was still 11 kilometers per hour faster in the straights, and that
pure horsepower.
Yes, and that kept Hamilton at bay, and that ensured that Leclerc got the win on Sunday.
And of course, Hamilton saying that, you know, I went over the edge, my tyres went over the cliff. He was quite dramatic about that and apologised to his team. Was that the reason why Bottas got the edge over him? Was there any driver faults involved? Was it purely the tyres for Hamilton?
I think towards the latter stages, the tyres did come into play and it did go off a bit. But also Hamilton was the better driver between the two. The only reason why Bottas had the advantage and why Bottas took second place was because he pitted much later than Hamilton. So his tyres were a lot fresher. So when Hamilton charged going into turn one and he charged and he went for the overtake on Leclerc, and he missed his braking point, and he had to take the escape route. The crowd went crazy, and what it meant was that Bottas could overtake him for second place, and because Hamilton's tyres were off, he had to go and make a second pit stop.
A pit stop, and that was just, ultimately maybe the team playing a bit of a part there as well. Now, you talk about someone doing this.
Yes.
But with no one else around them, for no conceivable reason. I was joking about Sebastian Vettel possibly being cursed. He must be feeling like he's a little bit cursed. Massive driver penalties coming into play now for a champion driver who just is not connecting with his car, connecting with the track. What is going on with Sebastian Vettel, and what penalties has he faced? Because this could become quite a serious thing for him now.
Graham, that's the saddest part for Ferrari at the moment.
Oof.
How can... There we see it now. And just look at that. And he went into Lance Stroll in the racing point. That clearly is let's just say
life-threatening.
That's life-threatening. That's stupid. And that again happened when Lance Stroll, he rejoined the track and he pushed Pierre Gasly wide again. So Vettel got a 10-second stop-go penalty for driving into Lance Stroll, and Lance Stroll for pushing Pierre Gasly off the track. He got a drive-through penalty through the pit lane. So the FIA and the stewards, they said, listen, we will not tolerate I don't want to say bad sportsmanship, but if you're going to be driving badly, you will be reprimanded and face a penalty. And the same happened with Charles Leclerc. When Hamilton had one of these best chances of overtaking Charles Leclerc, Leclerc pushed Hamilton wide, and Leclerc was shown the black and white flag saying, listen, buddy, you are driving dangerously, do that again, and you will face a penalty.
You will face a penalty. Because you want a bit of competition. These guys aren't driving alone, so you need that. I heard something about 9 out of 12 points. That's almost like a race ban might even be an offering for Vettel.
Yes, because if Vettel reaches 12 points, 12 penalty points, then he will be
banned for a race. Which, of course, will make absolutely no difference to his campaign because he is nowhere. I say that with all due respect. An incredible race. Great to see the McLarens in the mix there again as well. Thank you so much, man. So far it hasn't disappointed, but I think there is something very special for Formula One to have this kind of results in Italy. Massive, massive, massive results. And we'll continue to watch as Formula One surprises us as being a really interesting and exciting sport.
In the national news this morning, police have confirmed that one person has died following renewed violence in the Johannesburg CBD yesterday. The Gauteng Police Commissioner, Elias Mawela, has pleaded with residents of the area to allow government to deal with violence in some areas. In the ongoing attacks, foreign nationals and their businesses are being targeted, with some shops being burnt and looted. Police confirmed that some hostels tenants were inciting the violence after disrupting former Inkatha Freedom Party leader Mangosuthu Buthelez's speech earlier yesterday. The courageous and fighting spirit of Uyinene Mkhatshana, who was raped and killed allegedly by a post office employee in Cape Town last month, will live on through a fellowship created in her honor. This was announced at the slain 19-year-old's funeral in Beacon Bay, East London on Saturday morning to a hall full of family members and friends. University of Cape Town Vice-Chancellor Mamokgethi Phakeng told mourners that a scholarship in film and media studies will be called the Uyinene Mkhatshana Scholarship for Women in Humanities Studies. Now moving further abroad, an estimated 1 million people yesterday attended a mass celebrated by Pope Francis on the outskirts of Madagascar's capital city, Antananarivo, the Vatican had said. Addressing worshippers, the Pope spoke out against what he termed the patronage which produces a few rich people while the vast majority live in grinding poverty. The gathering has been described as the largest public gathering in Madagascar's history. Madagascar is the second part of his three-leg Africa tour. He has already visited Mozambique and his next stop is Mauritius. Hong Kong protesters yesterday sang the Star-Spangled Banner and called on US President Donald Trump to liberate the Chinese-ruled city. This is the latest in a series of demonstrations that have gripped the territory for months. Police stood by as protesters, under a sea of umbrellas against the subtropical sun, waved the stars and stripes and placards appealing for democracy after another night of violence in the 14th week of unrest. Last month, Trump suggested that China should humanely settle the problem in Hong Kong before a trade deal is reached with Washington. And finally, runners in the Mfolozi outrun in KZN last week were the victims of a prank with a difference. The Mfolozi outrun is an exhilarating two-day stage run held in the game reserve with the same name. Chances of encountering one of the big five during the jog are pretty high, so the organizers decided to boost the adrenaline sky high by placing a stuffed lion en route. The runners' reaction was priceless. Some didn't notice the beast at all, while others had a real major panic at the sight of the stuffed lion before tumbling to the ruse. Now, it was the real McCoy, though, when runners had to mark time as a herd of elephants sauntered across the road just a kilometer from the finish line on the final day. And of course, that is how we wrap up your news this morning. Here's a final look at what's happening in the world of sport with Graham.
Rugby first, as Makazole Mapimpi scored a hat-trick as the Springboks claimed a comfortable 41-7 win over Japan in their Rugby World Cup warm-up match at the Kumagaya Athletic Stadium on Friday. Boks scoring 5 tries against the World Cup host nation. Cheslin Kolbe grabbing a brace, while Bok rookie Herschel Yankees kept up his impressive form, scoring yet another try for the team. Mapimpi, who's scored 3 tries, joins now an elite list as he became one of the few Springboks to grab a test hat-trick. Then staying with rugby, but bringing it back home, the Free State Cheetahs survived a late, very dramatic comeback from the Golden Lions to be crowned the 2019 Currie Cup champions, securing a narrow 31-28 win in Bloemfontein on Saturday. Cheetahs scoring all of their points in the first half and outplayed the Lions on almost every department during the first 40 minutes. The Lions then came back in the final 10 minutes of the match, scoring 3 times, but came up just short of what would have been a sensational comeback. And talking of sensations, teenager Bianca Andreescu stunned 23-time Grand Slam winner Serena Williams 6-3, 7-5, while second seed Rafa Nadal beat Russian Daniil Medvedev in a titanic battle 7-5, 6-3, 5-7, 4-6, 6-4 in 4 hours and 51 minutes to both be crowned the 2019 US Open champions. This was Nadal's 19th Grand Slam win, while Canadian 15th seed Andreescu claimed a first Grand Slam title, first ever for a Canadian as well, and denied Williams, of course, her record 24th major win. Then on to motorsports, Ferrari's Charles Leclerc held off Mercedes teammates Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton to claim his second successive Formula One victory, that at the Italian Grand Prix yesterday. Last weekend, the 21-year-old secured his maiden win in Belgium. Leclerc beat both Mercedes drivers, with Bottas finishing ahead of the reigning world champion Lewis Hamilton, of course, who had to settle for third place. And then we round off on a tragic note. You probably would have heard the news by now that Springbok legend Chester Williams sadly passed away at the age of 49 on Friday. It's believed the former Bok wing suffered a heart attack. The tragic news comes just 2 months after former Springbok James Small's death. Both Williams and Small were a part of South Africa's 1995 Rugby World Cup winning squad. Williams playing 27 tests for the Boks, scoring 14 very memorable tries along the way between 1993 and 2000, and of course devoting so much of his time not only to rugby but so many young men playing the game of rugby as well. We certainly send our heartfelt condolences and all of our love to his family. And that's a wrap of your sport for this morning.
Let's take a final look at what's happening on our roads this morning. Starting off with Melrose in Gauteng. There's been a multi-vehicle accident on the M1 highway before Corlett Drive. 3 lanes are closed and traffic is heavily backed up, so please use an alternative route this morning. Also at Century City in the Western Cape on the N7 southbound, there's been a multi-vehicle accident before the N1 off-ramp. 2 lanes are currently obstructed and causing heavy delays, so please approach with caution. Also in the Central Line with Metro Rail, as of the T9501 inbound and outbound Captain's Clip trains will terminate at Philippi due to signal equipment failure at Captain's Clip. Now commuters are advised to make use of an alternative mode of transport between Philippi and Captain's Clip. Well, let's take a final look at what's happening in the weather. So we've asked you to send in your sunrise pictures. Thank you so much to Ntokozo Makatini for your sunrise from Johannesburg. Also Father Khan for your sunrise pictures from Richards Bay, as well as Drini Vermaak for your sunrise from Scottsburg. And also lastly, Wilma Lideman for your sunrise picture from Acerfontein. Let's take a look at some of the temperatures around the country. Polokwane, you're looking at a low of 7 rising to 25 today. Mbombela 9 reaching 24. Pretoria 11 rising to 27. There will be plenty of sunshine for Johannesburg with a low of 10 reaching 24. Also Mahikeng, a low of 7 reaching 27. Klerksdorp, a low of 8 rising to 26. Kimberley 7 reaching 27. The lowest temperature in the country for Bloemfontein 3 rising to 26 degrees, and then Richards Bay 13 reaching 26 degrees. Pietermaritzburg 9 rising to 28 degrees. Durban, there's some high humidity for you with a low of 15 reaching 23 degrees. Mthatha 8 rising to 31, East London 15 reaching 29, Cradock 7 rising to 32. A southwesterly wind of 15 kilometers per hour can be expected for Port Elizabeth with a low of 16 rising to 26. George 13 reaching 24. A southwesterly wind of 22 kilometers per hour for Sutherland with a low of 8 rising to 26. Cape Town will experience some high humidity with a low of 14 reaching 22 degrees. The highest temperature in the country today belongs to Worcester with a low of 14 rising to 31 degrees. Springbok 13, 31, Appington 12 reaching 30 degrees today. And that was your final wrap up of your weather and your temperatures all across the country. Hope it's going to be an amazing one.
So we're going to take a momentary break, just enough time for me to enjoy whatever I'm smelling. What is fresh from the oven?
Yes, fresh croissant.
Oh, I love you for that. I love you for my coffee, and I love you guys for sticking around. After the break, we're going to get an unbelievable performance, if the sound check is anything to go by, from someone we've just seen in the kitchen. Mama Miriam is unbelievably talented, and she's going to sing us out a little bit later this morning. Then, of course, I think honing in on something that all South Africans should be thinking about right now. Why do we have such a high incidence of violence against women and children in our country, and what can we do to address the situation? We'll deal with that after the break. Thanks, dear.
Thank you.
A taste loved by those who have tried it. McCafe, great coffee, simple. See you after the break.
Only you can make my day.
Hi,
Hi, my name is Simphiwe Ngema and I play Pindile Shezi on Isidingo. And you could be joining me on Tropica Island of Treasure. Buy Tropica and follow the instructions on the bottle. Take a video of yourself and tell us why you would be my ideal partner. Then upload it on all the social media platforms, your Twitter, your Instagram and your Facebook using the hashtag TIOT9. Come find your smooth fame and fortune on Tropica Island of Treasure carousel.
Okay, let's just do a quick sound check out of Let's just need to run a quick sound check, otherwise you're gonna miss it. Okay. Don't worry, we'll sort out everything for you.
Please.
Cool, we can go?
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso right here on SABC3. The duration of the recent Women's Month celebrations in South Africa were anything but, seeing report after report of senseless and violent crimes being committed against women and children, with the crushing news and the confirmation of the rape and murder of UCT student Uyonene Mkhwetyana being the straw that broke the collective camel's back. Now, with a strong national outcry that has seen gatherings for those who have lost their lives and protests demanding that laws and recourse change in the country, today we're asking the question, what do South Africans need to do to address the scourge of violence in our country? And this morning we're joined by the founder and director of self-defense organization Fight Back, her ally Jessie Clark McLeod, and CEO of ICHAF Training, Divan Munsami, to help us discuss this topic. And we would love to hear your questions and your comments as well. So you can call in on 021 110 552, or you can also leave a comment on our Facebook page and we will engage with you live. Thank you so much to all of our incredible guests. Also Nicole Merkin, thank you so much for coming with us today. Nicole. Yes. Nicole, Jessie's over there. Devon's over there. I don't know how you guys are feeling. I don't know how you guys are feeling last week. I don't even know if I could get through it. I think collectively as South Africa, we were feeling devastation. We were exhausted emotionally, physically, mentally. It was all too much. But something incredible happened. 20,000 people gathered, marched to Parliament to say so far and no further. Enough is enough. And of course, Nicole, you were part of that. You were instrumental in bringing that gathering, bringing that gathering to place. How did it all come about, and why was it so important for that moment to happen in South African history? Everybody put it on their social media. We saw the picture, 20,000 people.
So I think that South Africans have decided that enough is indeed enough, and that we have cried too many tears over the number of women and children that we have lost senselessly to gender-based violence. So the reason it came about is myself and Jessie, we know each other from back when we used to study. She feels very passionately about women's rights, as do I, and gender-based violence falls very much squarely into what our organization does, what Fight Back SA does, which is seeking to teach women self-defense skills so that they can try and change the outcome of an attack situation. And I think the nation realized last week that we've reached a crisis state of being, and that we cannot continue along this path, and if we do, we're going to lose many, many more women, and as a nation we might just break.
Jessie, why is it so important that we continue to keep this fight alive? Because so often, and we've heard about these things for years and years and years, and we speak about it and then we go silent, and we speak about it and we go silent. But something happened, something pivotal happened this time around. Why is it so important that we keep that passion and that flame alive?
So you have to keep the momentum going. You can't show up to one parliamentary gathering and then think that everything's been resolved and everything's fine. Because now the president's come and made commitments, right? And we have to hold him accountable to those. And it's not enough to use the hashtag enough is enough. You need to actually be an active citizen and be putting yourself out there on the street. And you need to be supporting groups, and particularly marginalized groups who haven't been given a voice on these issues and have been suffering for years and years with gender-based violence in their communities, rampant gender-based violence, but they haven't been given access and platforms to speak out on that. And we need to, as you know, leverage our privilege. If we have privilege, if we're privileged individuals, we need to leverage our privilege to support these marginalized communities and having a voice, and we need to mobilize behind multiple groups. So I think that we need to keep the momentum going, because if we don't keep the momentum going, then this is just a flash in the pan, and then that's where we stop. Like, we have to keep fighting and we have to keep going. And if people think that they don't have power, they're wrong. We were just two girls and we managed to mobilize 20,000 people. And you know, so if you think that if anyone's told you you don't have power, they were lying. You have power, and we as people have power, and women of South Africa have power.
I love that.
And we need to say we do have power. We need to take back our power, and we need to mobilize and support other women in taking back their power.
I think we all expected and anticipated that there would be an overwhelming response from women. But what I was also quite blown away to see is how many men were standing in solidarity with women as well. Devon, why is it so important that men become a greater driver of this conversation and become more involved in the fight against gender-based violence?
Look, before the level of discussing the level of importance, just to commend these two young ladies for having to bring out thousands of people to enable their voices to be heard on the day. I think that was incredibly important as a start. But to answer the question, the voice that I'm hearing at the moment, and we were speaking about this earlier, is the voice of the rapist, the voice of the murderer. That man's voice that's communicating a level of fear, a level of anxiety, and that's the voice that's deafening at the moment. I'm tired of hearing that man's voice or those male voices. I would like to see fresh voices coming to the fore. I'd like to see men voicing their opinions in terms of support for these kinds of initiatives, coming out in their numbers, holding forums, and being able to communicate to our women that we are part of an inclusive society that protects and respects these women. So the voices that I'm very angry about hearing at the moment is the voice of the rapist, the murderer, the perpetrator, and that needs to be silenced.
Absolutely, and we all know the saying that evil prospers when good people sit by and do and say nothing, and I think evil is about to stop prospering. We're going to continue this conversation as we talk about the scourge of gender-based violence that is so prominent in South Africa, and we are saying enough is enough. More on that after this.
Thank you so much to our panel, and in particular, two incredible women doing amazing things. But I think as much as we can promote and celebrate women having a voice and women standing up in solidarity and women being protected in these moments of extreme danger, it's more important now for men to change the narrative. It's time for the male voices to be heard in the right way. How fathers are talking to their sons, how we are talking to our country. And to close off Women's Month in the best possible way, I think the sensational vocalist Brenda Mtambo hosted Women Rise Rise concert aimed at celebrating all South African women and all of their incredible achievements. And Solo was lucky enough to be able to rub shoulders with some of those incredible women who have made a mark in South Africa's history.
Singing sensation Brenda Mtambo will be ending off Women's Month with a bang here tonight by celebrating women through song. Women Rise is all about highlighting the achievements of women from all backgrounds, of all races, and the impact they've made not only in South Africa, but around the world. Brenda, first and foremost, congratulations on such a successful evening tonight. I want to know, what was the decision to name this event Women Rise?
The Women Rise is a concept that I thought of from my own struggles. So in my downfall, in my down moments, I then made a decision that I need to rise above all those things. I decided that I'll host this event as a way to say, you're not going through anything alone. Rise above it all.
What exactly does Women's Month and Women's Day mean to you?
Women's Month, you know, it has gone beyond the fact that we need to gather as women and be motivated all the time, you know. It's the struggles that we are going through now that we need to fight. The struggle of inequality, the struggles of domestic violence. And this year alone, how many women died from the hands of men who were supposed to love them, you know?
How would you describe your career since going solo in 2010? How has the journey been like thus far?
The journey has been challenging, but I'm glad that I'm almost 10 years now as a solo artist, you know, alone, standing and doing this, and this feels amazing.
Brenda is sensational. Every time she opens her mouth to sing, every time she gets on a stage, I get goosebumps.
I think tonight's performance is by far Brenda's best performance. I've seen most of her shows that she's done in Joburg and outside of Joburg, and today she pulled out all the stops. I mean, I don't know how many outfit changes she made. She is by far one of the best vocalists we've ever had in this country. I'm a big Brenda fan, huge fan.
Tonight has been amazing, a night filled with so much ease, beauty. It's so amazing to see such an inspirational woman doing such amazing work. And she did say she wants us to all leave with hope, and I think I've gotten that. So yeah, tonight has just been awesome.
Well, I've always been a fan of Brenda from when she released her first album. And Brenda is not just a performer, she's anointed.
You were in your element from beginning to finish, I must say. What would you say has been a highlight for you tonight?
Oh my God, you know, for me, one of my biggest highlights in every time when I'm performing is the reaction that I get from people who came to see the show. Tonight was so special.
I feel like Women's Month is every month actually, but August just kind of is the cherry on top, where we kind of just really solidify, you know, the strength, the confidence, the bravery, the impact that us women have on the world. And for her to do a show that is this powerful as an impactful woman herself is amazing.
I think what makes it extra special is that Brenda took a leap of faith by owning her material and doing a concert on her own from her pocket. That for me is saying I am liberated, I'm independent, and I want to thrive on my own without having a middleman or a man behind my success.
Women, it's important to be empowered. Being empowered does not in any way defeat the next person next to you. Being empowered, it means you are able to to have a great impact in other people's lives. We need to be women who stand for something, because we might just fall for anything.
What a lovely evening filled with such powerful and passionate performances. A huge congratulations goes out to Brenda Mtambo for pulling off such a world-class and relevant event celebrating women in South Africa. On that note, no pun intended, we'll definitely be keeping our ears on the ground for those upcoming albums and of course returning for the 2020 edition of Women Rise.
Thank you so much, Sola. Now we are in for a real treat after the break. We've seen her in the kitchen. Now we're going to see her do another incredible physical feat. This voice is pure magic. Mama Miriam Tony is going to be here with a beautiful performance. Don't stray too far.
Well, it's Monday, and today we're using our relationship chat as an opportunity to have a panel discussion on what South Africans need to do to address the scourge of violence against women and children. And we would love to hear your questions and your comments for Nicole, for Jessie, and for Devon. So you can comment on our Facebook page and we will engage with you live. Thank you so much to our panel for returning. Jessie, I'm going to begin with you. Self-defense classes. It's a reality in South Africa. I cannot believe that this is something that we're talking about more and more and more, that women have to protect themselves, that they have to take self-defense classes. But what is the statistics right now that deem something like this necessary?
So I looked at the Stats SA report from May of 2018 because that's the most recent one that's available. So I just want to say that the information that's publicly available and readily available to define the scope of the scale of gender-based violence in South Africa, I feel is not adequate.
Yeah.
I feel like there needs to be greater effort to define the scale of the problem, because when I looked at Stats SA report that was supposed to be released in March of 2019 on violence against women in South Africa, they couldn't release it because there was issues with the methodology. So I had to go and look at Stats SA May report 2018, and in there they said that in 2000 the World Health Organization said that the amount of femicide in South Africa is 5 times higher than anywhere else in the world. And that was already like now 20 years ago already. And also additionally, if I looked at the police reports, it showed that there were over 170,000 reported incidents of assault against women or violence against women. That includes assault, rape, murder and assault, and that murder increased by 11% in the financial year from 2016 to 2017. So when we look at these statistics, and particularly looking at police statistics, because that's only what's reported, so it's problematic to define the scale of the issue by looking solely at police recorded statistics of what the issue is. And also the Daily Maverick posted a report by the IPID Independent Police Investigative Directorate, and they said that between April and September of 2018, 55 police officers raped women and 23 did so while on duty. So like now we're relying on reports put together by perpetrators, and these reports are also, so that's problematic. And then they're also only the reported incidents. How many women feel safe to go into a police station to go, like, because they're not facilitated, they're not welcomed in these spaces, they're not heard, they're not, most of these, like Nicole said when she addressed the president, most of these police stations are ill-equipped. They don't have rape kits. There's no support there psychologically. So like our institutions are failing our women, and we also cannot rely on these institutions as our source to define the scope of the problem. That's problematic.
Yeah.
Because these institutions are the problem as well in the first place.
So where does one even begin then? Like if the very fiber of our society is like, this is not a now problem. This has been coming on for how many years? It's only now that people are saying enough is enough. Devin, where do we even begin?
And it's a very good question. And to build on that stat, every 3 hours in South Africa, a woman is killed. Every half hour in South Africa, a man's killed. So we're looking at about between 50 to 54 murders a day. And South Africa ranks probably number 4 after Lesotho and Honduras and Jamaica, I think, in terms of our murder stats. Now this, by any stretch of the imagination, is absolutely alarming. So when you have a country that's sitting essentially in a state of post-traumatic stress disorder, and all of us are, because we're reading about it, we're tweeting about it, we're looking at different social media, comments about the level of violence and the murder. And this is exactly where we are. We're living in a heightened state of awareness, post-traumatic stress, and extreme high alert. Serious action needs to be taken as far as this is concerned, because what happens to the average South African is that at the back of our minds, we constantly focused on this potential evil lurking in the background. And are any of us safe? Are any of us confident enough to step out into a working day without being the 50 or the 52 or 54 that are murdered every day, which is about 19,000 in the year in SA?
Yeah. Nicole, how can we use this current state of unrest to drive the government? You were there, 20,000 women. You were responsible for bringing that about. How do we use this current state of unrest to bring about change in our country?
I think we need to seriously consider the type of momentum that Jessie mentioned earlier, in that we have to continue supporting women and supporting all members of our society to continue this drive towards, completely stopping the country if necessary, to focus on the fact that our women and children are dying. And I think that the first step was providing a safe space in which 20,000 people could come together, and facilitating a space in which even the president felt was mandated that he needed to appear in. And I think from that, as Fight Back SA, we're going to hold the president accountable for the response that he gave to our memorandum, which we gave to him on that platform on Thursday. And moving forward from there, I would encourage every single South African to not give up and to continue fighting this fight, because like we just spoke about now, we don't know when we're going to be a part of those 50 people a day. Or I think the current rape statistic is an average of 109 rape cases recorded a day. Those are the ones that are reported. So to make a difference, each and every single South African needs to keep on fighting and not give up. Jessie and I have made ourselves quite available to support anyone that needs help in that regard. And as Fight Back SA, we're going to keep pushing workshops everywhere to every community that reaches out to us, completely free of charge. And I think that if each South African devotes themselves in that manner, we're going to see a real change.
Yeah. Well, this is just the start of a conversation that cannot stop. Thank you so much, Nicole, Devon, Jessie, for being here today. We want to ask, what do South Africans need to do to address the scourge of violence in our country? We would love to hear your questions and your comments for our panel. So you can continue commenting on our Facebook page, and we will definitely make sure that we continue to engage with you.
Thank you so much to our panel this morning. A hugely important discussion, but we're going to shift gears right now and get you back into the kitchen with our...
lighter note.
A lighter note, yeah, no, undoubtedly, man. A guy who is setting an incredible example by the way that he lives his life and chooses to pump positivity into the world. And right now he's going to be doing that with boldness of colour as we have a little bit of fun with, I want to say, the underappreciated, beautiful, ripe, gorgeous pepper.
I mean, we're going to pickle them. Pickle peppers?
Can you pickle a pepper? We're going to pickle a pepper perfectly this morning.
Perfectly pickled peppers.
And we're going to roast them, and we're going to have a lot of fun, because I think nothing quite like the pepper shifts and changes its flavour as dramatically.
So extremely versatile, I think, is the most important thing.
And of course, we're going to be using a little bit of Be Well goodness along the way. Okay, so what are you making for us first of all, dude?
Cool. So I mean, it's a super simple thing, but very, like you said, very versatile. We're just going to pickle these peppers. We're going to roast them first in the oven. So what you do is just cut them up. You can sort of keep it sort of chunky. You can go a little bit thinner. A couple of seeds fall in there. It's not a problem. Don't worry. So just bang, bang, bang.
And there's no need to like pre-blanch, remove
No. We're going. This is the thing. We're going to just drizzle them with some oil there. And because we're going to add loads of flavors now later, we don't need to sort of season them now. So boom, that goes into your oven.
And they'll sweeten. Nothing changes the taste as dramatically as a pepper, because it really does get that sweet from being quite peppery, understandably. As soon as you roast it, or if you char it on a grill, it gets that beautiful sweet flavor profile.
Exactly what we're looking for. A little bit of lemon zest as well. Also, in with your peppers.
Okay.
Pop your lemons.
Oh, nice.
Boom.
I'm like looking at the bowl of this. I'm thinking like everything that's
we're
going
to get to there.
It's going to get there. Yeah.
So I'd say about 40 minutes in the oven. Pull them out. They become really nice and soft and pliable.
Look at that.
And then you can peel the skins off.
Quite
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
So in here we're going to do our pickling liquid. So we've got the lemon zest there. A little bit of white wine vinegar.
Okay.
Take the lemons you've roasted as well. Get that goodness in there. So, that comes real jammy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Then we're going to hit them hard with some parsley, some chili, and some garlic. Boom, that goes straight in.
Again, you're not shy, but
No, we're not shy in the
fresh flavors.
Yeah.
Because you've got quite a soft flavor with the pepper, so you want to ramp it up. Give it a bit of a kick.
And then we just a nice amount of olive oil in there.
Cool.
So then this now forms our pickling liquid. So we've got the sweetness here, and then we've got all the acid coming from here. And then you just pour that over them.
And this, I mean, this is a great starting point. You can introduce, if you wanted to spice this up or take it in a different direction.
No, you go for it. I mean, you can go cumin, you can go more coriander, you can go Middle Eastern style. I mean, and yet again, if you then take something like this and you chop them up and you add some capers, you can do a nice pepperonata, a nice pasta dish. So it's super versatile, yeah.
So you got your whole sprigs.
Yeah, whole sprigs of rosemary. And then we just
Well, you're doing
a nice little pack in there.
Yeah, and I mean, visually, this looks beautiful. Nice little gift idea as well. While you do your colourful layering, of course, we know that the Be Well canola oil, delicious buttery taste, which is going to lend itself to this process. The grapeseed oil, very neutral in its flavour, which is quite nice if you don't want to have an oil flavouring your overall outcome. And it means that you can control, ultimately, that flavour profile. Most importantly, we've spoken about mental health and the relationship between omega-3s. Be Well canola oil, only cooking oil in the country carrying the Cancer Smart Choice seal, which is quite an endorsement, and that's due to its high ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acids. And the smoking point, we know if you're going to be cooking with it as well, grapeseed oil, very, very high smoking point, so it's not going to break down when you cook with it. Very high temperatures as well. So you've just thrown it all together.
There we go, yeah. I mean, that's going to last either in your fridge or just out. I mean, you know what I mean? Don't stress about it. Then you can just have a little pick every now and then, or just pop it into your pasta. Like I said, you can have them on toast in the morning.
It's amazing. It's beautiful.
Versatile.
It's colourful, and I really like the addition of the lemons in there as well.
You've got to have that chunkiness as well.
Beautiful. The key word here is pickle to 33728. You can be not in a pickle this morning as you pickle your peppers to perfection, just like this. You can think on that as we take a quick break. Nice, man.
Thanks, mate.
I need a bread and cheese.
I know.
Come on.
Science reaches for the truth. It works for the big and small, for the old and young. And with knowledge as our first ingredient, science is at the heart of our food. For differences you can see, feel, and trust. It all starts with science.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso right here on SABC3. Well, it's a Monday, and you know we talk relationships on a Monday. This time we're using this opportunity to have a panel discussion on what South Africans need to do to address the scourge of violence against women and children. And we would love to hear your questions and comments for Nicole, for Jessie, and for Devon. So you can comment on our Facebook page, and we'll engage with you. Just like some of our Expresso viewers, Dion coming through on the Facebook page saying, "Good morning, Expresso. I am very inspired by the organization called Tsepa 1 Million, which is busy helping youth to find employment by offering them an opportunity for training in different fields. It's based in Tshwane in Pretoria." And of course, we know that employment and education is such an important thing as well. Bongi Nkosi coming through saying, "Since the tragedy of women and children abuse that's currently happening in South Africa, schools around my community in George are doing marches and tributes to honor the women and children who died and others who are still surviving abuse as well." And that's quite interesting, you know, the fact that everybody is getting involved. And I think it's always sad that we do it to honor people that have lost their lives. Hopefully now it can be to prevent this situation from happening. Jessie?
Yeah, but I think it's important that people are given a space to mourn the lives of women and children that have been lost to gender-based violence, because there's a lot of anger, and what's behind a lot of anger is grief, is pain. And for so long, so many people haven't been able to have a public space to honor their lives of their friends or family members that have passed to gender-based violence, because this has been such a silent issue. I mean, women and children have been dying for years, and now, you know, we have to let people be given a space to honor the lives and memories of those, because they were not publicly acknowledged, nor were they given a public space to acknowledge the lives of these women and children that have been lost. And so the thing about, you know, grieving and being given a space to grieve is that the first step to healing is to be given a space to grieve. So we as a nation are grieving the lives of the women and children that have been lost, and I think it's important. And I think it's important that people feel safe in these spaces, that they come into a space that can be, and that was one of our goals on Thursday, was that we wanted to make a space that women and people, family members, friends could come together and, you know, mourn and publicly acknowledge, because it's been too silent. Every day women are dying. It doesn't make the headlines. Why does this one make the headlines, but this one doesn't make the headlines, and this one's from this community and this one's from that community?
And if I may add to that point, the grieving process is so important, as Jessie illustrates, and the conversation has started. Or somebody has died, lots of people have died, and now the grieving process, through dialogue, through conversation, people are starting to make sense of what's actually happened, and people are starting to become a little bit more proactive. What can I do? What can I do to change circumstances in my community, within my church, a religious organization? And this forms part of that grieving process. I just hope that this dialogue doesn't dissipate. I just hope that we keep the momentum going so that more South Africans can have the conversation around how to build and pave the way forward now, so this doesn't happen to another student, another sister, another mother, another daughter.
Here's another comment on our Facebook page coming from Gary Okamp, who says, "As a man, I am appalled and ashamed when I hear how men in the changing room at the gym talk about women. The vulgarity of how they identify townships where women can be found for sex. Men need to stop these horrible dialogues, move away from your cultural or religious beliefs, and realize that even though you may not be someone who would rape, your words regarding our mothers, daughters, sisters need to be uplifting and supportive, not degrading." Thank you so much for that one, Gary. And Devon, that's what I wanted to ask you. Do you think the complicit silence of men has been one of the things that has been the biggest problems to this? That men have not made their voices heard, have not stood up for women like this? It comes from this, you know, gym room talk, this locker room talk. Do you think that that's been one of the problems?
It's a big part of the problem, and he's touched on very important points there. How are we treating women within our communities? Sometimes a woman would walk past a group of men, how are we engaging with that girl? Are we whistling? Are you hollering? Are you calling her name? And what's her response to that behavior? What gives you the right as a South African man to almost belittle and shame an individual who's simply walking past? These types of conversations are almost acceptable in certain men's circles, if we have to be. And I'm probably going to step on a few toes here with that statement, because all the men are going, well, that's not me. But men, there are some men within our communities who speak to women in a particular way. Becoming intrinsically aware of the way in which I'm speaking to the ladies next to me, speaking to my partner, speaking to my mother, speaking to general women in the work environment, in that awareness will come some sort of behavior, a ripple effect of a behavior in terms of how I'm building up and not breaking down. Even, patronizing prostitute women on streets as an example. Are we, by even engaging in that level of activity, not within a controlled environment, those ladies very seldom report rape, report abuse, because there's a level of shame attached to standing on the street. And it's men who are patronizing these ladies. It's men who are paying for the sex. So it's men who are feeding an industry that's already derogatory, already degrading, bringing down the self-esteem of our women. So it requires us to have a very honest dialogue, a very real conversation as South African men. What are we doing? What's our position and our standpoint? And being very aware of my behavior, not just now, around the 16 days of activism against women and children starting in November going into December, but every day should be that level of activism against, the violence of women and children in this country.
Can I quickly touch on the call for punishment and the severity of the punishment when it comes to rapists and murderers of women and children? Where do we need to be careful when it comes to the call for things like even the death penalty?
So I think that is an extremely emotionally charged question, which is on every South African's mind at the moment. We are so distraught and we are so filled with pain that I think our anger is revealing that we want people to pay with their lives for the atrocities they've committed. Now, I think where we have to be very careful with that is, A, what happens when you give the government the authority to give and take life? I think that that's a very important question that we must add to that conversation. Secondly, I think that a lot of women that experience this trauma, that are raped, often it is by someone that they know. And I'm very worried that if we call for the death penalty, what happens if a young woman is, say, raped by her uncle? Will it prevent her from going to the police to report that case if she knows that she will be responsible for a family member's death? So there are it's a very multifaceted question, and I think first and foremost we need to also consider our constitution when we look at these questions and the anger that we feel with regards to them. And I think as long as we ensure that we debate it properly and we analyze the situation properly, we'll get to the right solution. But personally, as a part of my organization, I think that we shouldn't necessarily just be asking about the punishment for these atrocities. We need to be fighting tooth and nail to prevent these atrocities from happening. I want to equip every single young woman with the ability to stop a man from taking advantage of her, to stop a man from hurting her. I think that we need to go into our communities. I think we should have a nationwide educational approach to this. I think we need positive masculinity classes. I think we need consent classes in our schools. I think that to truly solve this issue, we need government to step in at a grassroots level to change the mentality of our people and to change the possible future perpetrators from becoming perpetrators.
Yeah, Nicole's right. The punishment discussion is one discussion.
Yeah.
But I would like the energy channeled into a prevention discussion.
Yeah, like,
how do we stop this?
Before we get there, why are we focusing on punishing? We should be focusing on not having this happen or be accepted and normalized in our society.
And furthermore, I think if we can strengthen our justice system and ensure that our courts are protecting our women and helping deliver these judgments more effectively, then we're going to see a real impact and real change.
Protect and serve, that's what we need to do. Thank you so much to our panel. This is such an incredible discussion. Hopefully we can continue it more, because that's what we need to do. Never stop talking, never stop fighting for this. We've heard the cries and it's now time to act, because enough is enough. If you would like to find out more about Fight Back SA, then you can head on to their Instagram page where the handle handle at @fightback_SA. We are all hurting at this moment. Our hearts are sore in this human moment, lamenting the loss of so many innocent and valuable lives. So let's get together, let's stand together, let's act now to bring about change in the way that our country views and treats its most vulnerable citizens, and never stop fighting. Enough is enough.
And now using her voice to spread a message of unity during very dark times indeed. Mama Miriam Tony, believe it or not, is not just amazing in the kitchen. She is in the works for her 4th studio album, something that started out just singing in Sunday school. 3 albums under the belt, and an incredible gift that she is now going to share with us with her song, her latest single that she chose specifically for that reason of promoting unity today, Cheyenne Deshaney.
Ha
so much, guys. Thank you, Miriam. Absolutely beautiful performance. We'll bring you one more performance from Miriam Tony after the break. We'll see you now. Thank you, guys.
Tell us who you would like to see join the presenter search on 3 Top 10. Is it radio presenter and entrepreneur Danny Gaselli, musician and advertising agent Rashen Pillay, TV presenter and MC Kutle Adams, or boxer and radio presenter Zanande Makina? Vote for your favorite on the presenter search on 3 Viewers' Choice Twitter poll on twitter.com/be-found-on-3. T's and C's apply and can be found on presentersearchon3.com.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us for what has been a truly inspirational and a very hard-hitting show this morning, and that certainly applies to the incredible vocals of this amazing human being stood beside me. Miriam Tony has already blessed us with one beautiful performance, and she's going to close us out now this morning with another. Here she is performing Songena Lapa.
Expresso Morning Show, made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.